The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. The topics discussed may include drugs, alcohol, or be sexual in nature. This show is intended for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised. I'm serious. It's dirty. Really, really dirty. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage, sit back, and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble. You're listening to Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly show or your live weekly conversation about the entertainment industry and geek culture. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, or night, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you should stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First, he is our riddle inside of an enigma, trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
That intro was kind of long. Someone should make a shorter version of it.
I agree. We're going to get someone to get on that. Next.
We're going to hire another intern.
Right. He's the backbone. That voice you heard, the backbone, the pillar. The strength of Fantastic Forum, our nigh invulnerable brawler and resident strongman, Moses Magnum.
L'chaim.
As for myself, my name is Lawrence Young. They call me Mayor Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. We got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking to you all about The Mandalorian, the season premiere. We'll also be talking to you about the Japanese horror film Tomie, and we are going to review Batgirl. Batgirl, the Joker War tie-ins. So we'll bring you all that, and of course, whatever else it is that you all want to talk about. But before we do all that, we want to make sure that we go ahead and thank Mr. Scott Rubin, who without him, the show wouldn't be possible. So thank you, Scott. Appreciate you, buddy. And we also should go ahead and tell you how it is you can get down with Fantastic Forum. So,
reaction? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
fantasticforum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
There it is, man. She's so sexy when she's like fantasticforum.live. There it is.
She's transitioning.
Hey.
You could go into the Discord chat room at allgames.com.
Hey, more power to him. I don't know how it works yet. Forgive me. There you go. Thank you.
Good at that.
Huh?
I'm actually getting pretty good at that.
I hope so. That's good. I'm glad. We're all allies here at Fantastic Four. So, yeah.
The three of us here.
Shout out to Oz. Oz isn't here this week. I like to think Oz is an ally too.
Yeah.
We'll see. he's a work in progress. Oz is supposed to be back next week, though, right?
Yeah. That's some more DC stuff.
Yeah.
Now, were we supposed to do all of the Batgirl tie-ins or just 50?
All of them.
Oh.
Now, all of them is what? 48, 49, 50 or 47?
Yeah,
48?
7, 48, 49, and 50.
Okay. Because when I said I needed a picture of the cover, I only got one.
Well, that's the most important one.
Okay. So I only read like 2 pages of it. No, I'm kidding. Right here in our YouTube chat, Oz is in there. He says, I heard that, a-holes. And
What up, Oz?
It's Tiger Claw, who says, "What's up, Fantastic Forum? Since you guys have been watching scary movies lately, have you seen the trailer for that COVID movie Songbird? It's right up your alley. Oh, and that could be our future."
well, look, our future is that, but I don't need to watch it just yet. I'll wait for it.
Wait, is the Songbird joint's not a horror movie though, right? It's just like,
Oh, it's scary.
I mean, only because it feels so much closer to reality than we've ever. Yeah, but not like monsters or slasher people scary.
Nah, I mean, I watched 12 Monkeys. That felt real and scary, but not necessarily a horror movie. I watched Outbreak, felt real and scary, not necessarily a horror movie, and that's what Songbird feels.
I feel like Outbreak does have a jump scare in it though. Like I remember watching Outbreak in the theater and feeling like there was a point where I was like, ah.
Yeah, but that's you. That's you. Like, audience, because you demanded it, there is a video on our YouTube now of Larry reacting to the short horror film aptly named Larry, and it's there. One of the people that saw it, Larry, said, "You're a cheating ass motherfucker because you didn't even watch the movie. You were too busy getting that screen back up."
Listen,
So she said,
the screen started coming down behind me. I was like, God damn, reality is folding in on itself.
She said, "You got to do a redo."
Oh, no, listen. I love how Tiger Claw's like, oh, since y'all are watching scary movies now. I'm like, wait, who said we were watching scary movies now? I didn't say that. And like, I went ahead and I did that last one under duress. I set some parameters that never got reached. And because I love this show and my audience so much, I still did this damn 5-minute movie. And I was like, man, I swear, I'm pretty sure that movie's 15 minutes long. I'm pretty sure.
Hexzilla in chat says, "LOL, I saw that video. You did good, Larry."
Thank you, Hecht. Look, I just appreciate someone finally encouraging the fact that I actually did it, like as opposed to all the other ingrates that are like, "Well, you barely did it. You didn't do it right. Well, next time you're gonna."
I thought it was amazing.
Yeah.
No, okay. Well, thank you.
The next one's gonna be better.
You're doing Other Lily next, right?
Oh, look, sure, man. Hit me up October 5th, 2021. We might not do
that long. Yeah. What we do, we got to get all of them in the can. Sorry.
Like on the can. I'll can you. It's rough, man. That joint. I know that people are probably watching it. Like it's a different thing, I'm sure, to watch somebody else watch a horror movie.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the people that watch the video are like, why is he so scared of this? Yeah. But I swear to you, if you watch that joint on its own before you watch me watch it, it's much more tense than you probably would realize, like watching it with me there to laugh at.
I actually did watch it before I watched you watch it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not scary.
Ah, you're a son of a bitch, Jay. I'd like if Oz was here, I'd knock you off the stream right now, but I guess we need you.
It is a well-crafted little horror film. That's 5 minutes.
I agree. From a narrative perspective, I can't knock the film. The film was great. It did its job, and it did it too well, and I don't like it.
Next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna do the "Come Play With Me" trailer, Larry. Just the trailer. It's only about 3.5 minutes.
That's what you said about the last film, and it was like 18 minutes long.
And we need Other Lily, and then
we're gonna do all those. I'm gonna spend the day with Larry. We're gonna do horror all in a day, and we're gonna lay them out once a week for the next 18 weeks.
Okay.
And you come play with me, Larry. Is a horror movie that is essentially the remake of Larry. And if you pay close attention to the trailer, that scene in Larry happens in the trailer a little bit. So that character comes back at some point. So that should be interesting. Now that you have context watching that trailer, and it has your girl in it.
Who's my girl? Who?
Jillian Jacobs.
Jillian Jacobs. I mean, I like Jillian Jacobs. I don't know if I would call her my girl.
You wanted her to be
Peach?
Huh?
Is that the girl that was the voice of Peach in that one Starbomb song?
No. I'm going to say no, right?
I have no idea what he's talking about, but I think I know.
No, Scully.
Oh, Gillian Anderson.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Who's Jillian Jacobs?
The girl from Community.
Oh, Britta.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even think, look, Britta, as much as I love Community, I don't think Britta's my girl either. Damn, Jillian Jacobs. I didn't even realize. I was thinking about totally different Jillian. I think of Jillian Anderson for it. I'm sorry, Jillians. There's only like, what, 2 or 3? Is there another Jillian? Nope. Just those 2. Huh?
Yeah, Jillian Reynolds.
Who's that?
The greatest weather lady of all time, meteorologist.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, thankfully she's with us. She survived lymph node and breast cancer.
Did she get breast cancer?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Babies
that's
are
terrible.
gone. Yeah.
Wow. Look. Whatchamacallit? It's just funny because I see my boy Eric in chat, and he's like, Fox 11. He knows exactly who she is. It's like Eric is that dude. Eric don't ever watch the weather until she come on.
I didn't till 1991, back when she was Julian Worry.
Oh, wow. Okay. So yeah. So Jillian Jacobs directed one of those 616 documentaries, I think, right?
I don't watch those.
You don't watch what?
The 616 documentaries?
Yeah.
I don't watch those. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
they're wrongfully named.
Why are they wrongfully named?
Because they're MCU stuff, right?
No.
Oh.
No,
Then
it's about no, but it's okay. All right. So I guess we should get to
Oh, real quick to Malo Bueno in chat. He in Twitch chat, he said that it wasn't gonna happen, you watching horror movies, and we did it. I proved him wrong. He said it on Instagram.
Yeah, listen.
The poll.
He knows me well, and he knows that I didn't want to do it. And so, you know, like I would have bet the same line he did if I didn't, you know, if I wasn't me. I would told, knowing what I know about it, I don't like watching these horror movies, man. I don't understand how you all do this on a regular basis. I was like, sheesh, man. Like I said, that 5 minutes felt so long.
Last week I did it almost all day at work, every day.
Yeah. Listen, look, we'll talk more about Tomie later too, because that's a whole different experience. Like, Jesus Christ, I don't know what's wrong with you people.
Oh yeah, and Malo Bueno wants you to do The Exorcist, Larry.
Yeah,
we're gonna do
that. Whatever, El Malo, you, El Malo.
Scary? Like
The Exorcist?
Yeah.
Here's what I can tell you about The Exorcist. I watched it through a keyhole when I was like 5. And then when she threw up, because my brothers wouldn't let me in the room. And I watched it through the keyhole. We had some family event thing, The Few. I mean, Larry, you've met my family. Like, people don't like to hang out with. Like, you know, the only reason Emily's still with me is because she hasn't met my family. But I watched it through a keyhole, and when she threw up, I threw up, and that's how they caught.
Oh, jeez. Did you actually throw up?
Yeah, I threw up. When
Wow.
I watched it in its entirety, it was at church.
What?
And it wasn't scary. Yeah, they were trying to scare me about the Ouija board and shit. So I was like 8. And then
I don't remember. Is there a Ouija board in The Exorcist?
they said that you open doors doing certain shit during the Ouija board. I don't remember if
Oh.
there's a Ouija board. There might have been. But then when they re-released it in the theater, I saw it, and I was eating peanut butter biscotti while everybody was like whimpering in their chair. So I never found it scary. But the people everybody in the theater did, because I remember taking a bite out of that biscotti, like, and the guy in front of me going, like, so it can be scary to a lot of people, but not me and Jay, I guess.
I haven't seen it yet, but
Oh, okay. You should watch it.
Pinball Wiz in chat says the extended version will mess you up. Larry should watch it.
Oh yeah, that's the one I saw in the theater.
No, thank you, Pinball Wiz.
And while I wasn't scared in the moment, the next night I couldn't sleep. Like the image, I would see the images while I was like my eyes closed. Now I wasn't scared, but it had. I guess on some level I was scared. I just don't react to fear like Larry would, where he's like,
What? Speaking of which,
I hate when that happens.
what the hell is that behind you, Moses? What is that?
Me? This?
Yeah. What is that?
Oh, that's the album cover for Behemoth's The Satanists.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Man. Listen.
It's a tapestry.
Nah.
The singer gave it to me when I met him once.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, okay. I don't know what to say to that.
I mean, it's a weird picture. It's like Lucifer with the wings, and it's definitely takes artistic license, but it is cool to see in the dark.
Does it glow?
No.
Oh.
Well, it's not made to glow, but you can see it in the dark.
No, thank you. Boleto says, looks like my ex. Oz in chat. I can confirm that the Ouija board opens up certain portals. Oh, jeez.
I've heard that too.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't believe
know.
portals.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep it moving. Let's go ahead.
Yeah.
Let's talk The Mandalorian. It's about that time. So if anybody, obviously Mandalorian just came out this past Friday. So if you all have seen it, you want to talk about the show, have your opinions on what you think, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, please feel free to click the link. You can find that link on YouTube or on our Facebook group. If you're on Twitch, you can. Geez, if you're on Twitch, I don't know that you can see the link to join in, but maybe you can. And if you can't,
someone can put it in chat.
Yeah, someone will put it in chat for you.
While you're listening, put it in chat.
or go to YouTube. or our Facebook group, which anyway, all that. So gents, season 2, episode 1 of The Mandalorian has aired. You know what, Moses, what were your thoughts? How did you feel about that first episode?
Well, it was too short. That's been my whole complaint with Mandalorian. These episodes are too short. Now
this episode is longer though, right?
It's an hour.
Longer episode?
Yeah, it's an hour. Look, I learned moving forward in season 1 that The Mandalorian is Star Wars short films and kind of fan films, but with canon. And so I was expecting another 20-minute episode, just like the first season premiere, and this thing was an hour.
Yeah. And still felt too short.
Look, the story was great, but Timothy Oliphant with the fucking Mandalorian armor was a little weird to me because that means Disney changed some shit. So I'm not happy about that. But the actual execution of it, everything's good. I'm sorry.
What did they change?
Well, I remember from what I heard, people say it. I don't know. Some people say it. That Boba Fett got out of the Sarlacc pit intact. So that's again, I'm not even mad about it. It's something that sticks in the back of my head when I see it. But it didn't take away from the enjoyment. Like the actual episode itself was a great fucking. It was fistful of dollars with fucking Mandalorian. It was high noon with Mandalorian. And I got so mad at Screen Rant because they call themselves Screen Rant and they talk about why you get letterbox on certain scenes and you get full frame on others. You get a 20:1 aspect ratio for certain scenes at like the 40-minute mark. It just switches to that, and then it fills in. And I'm like, oh, okay, somebody that's on my level. All right, I'll read this article. And they're like, oh, it's just because the scenes were so big, they wanted the scale to be big. No, you dumb fuck. No, you dumb fuck. No, it's because it's tailored after spaghetti westerns, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Fucking 13, like fucking huge, big fucking, like the Hateful Eight, for those of you who've never seen those. Big fucking screen. Like you need a big fucking screen to see this shit. And when it switches back, like to when he rides off into the sunset, it's fucking goodbye, Shane. Come back, Shane. Like it's fucking amazing for a dude that loves fucking spaghetti westerns like this and Star Wars. Like this is it. Like when I saw A New Hope do the Searchers thing, I was like, oh yeah, this is awesome. As a little ass kid, I said that, but seeing it again now, seeing the care that they take into this detail of how they make and present these stories to you is what makes it great. It's fucking quality. It's the only good thing on Disney.
It's the only good thing on Disney Plus.
Yeah. I mean, I don't watch anything else, so. Yeah.
You're saying Gravity Falls no good?
Gravity Falls, I didn't watch on Disney. I watched it 3 times straight through on Hulu. So
it's still there though.
It's still there though.
I don't give a fuck. I didn't sign up for that.
It's good. Like,
I mean, it's still good, but it's not only there. But it's not only there. It's still on Hulu.
I would say it's better than The Mandalorian.
Oh wow, wow, strong words.
Look, maybe I haven't seen it on Disney Plus, but I'm not going to say it isn't because that. I mean, when we talked about Color Out of Space, like you look at Color Out of Space and Gravity Falls, you see a lot of parallels. I mean, Gravity Falls is a better version of Color Out of Space. Like Color Out of Space will be just one episode of Gravity Falls, So you could do a whole Lovecraft Country should have been Gravity Falls, but
that would be interesting.
Like with a name like Lovecraft Country, it should have been more like Gravity Falls. Which
Jay
is
say what?
In a way, it kind of is, but
Lovecraft Country and Gravity Falls could totally have a crossover, and they wouldn't have to change anything.
Yeah,
it could just happen. Yeah. Like the only thing would be some people be like, why are there cartoons in this all of a sudden? Why are there cartoon kids?
Why is there
Gravity Falls audience? Who are these black people?
Gravity Falls, yeah. Gravity Falls audience, like, why are they showing that the hermaphrodite penis?
Oscar in chat says the Aftermath books describe how he loses the armor after his escape.
Yeah, but that's like Disney shit too, right?
Aftermath?
I'm not sure that it is it?
Yeah, Aftermath is Disney.
Yeah.
And it does sound like they're retconning some shit because I don't know. I would have to read it, but
because that was a book series called The Mandalorian Armor that details Boba Fett's story all around. what you see in the movies a little bit before and after, and they got rid of that with Disney, and I guess that's the aftermath. But even this, I think, retcons what they did in the aftermath books.
Yeah, the aftermath books are recent. Like, it's too early to start retconning them.
I haven't read them, so I don't know what's in them.
Nobody read them, but
I'm more about that new not the aftermath, but I'm more about that like high council shit.
High Republic?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually really hyped for that. I'll be reading that novel when it comes out. Yeah, Charles Soule's writing that joint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look, Moses doesn't care. He's like,
you're not a Charles Soule fan.
Oh, how dare you! I'm so done. So done.
You didn't read 27?
Whatever. I read whatever I want to read from Charles Soule. I don't need your approval.
Don't say like it's a selling point. Otherwise, you would have read 27.
I don't need to read 27. I read his Star Wars stuff, and I read his Daredevil. That's enough. I read more than that, but still, that is enough though. It's a lot of books.
You don't even remember what else you read. That's how much.
I don't, but that doesn't mean anything.
I know what you read.
There's plenty of great things I don't remember. Plenty, and Charles Soule's on that list.
Yeah, he's forgettably great.
Oh wow, Jay, what do you think of season 1 or episode 1 of Mandalorian, season 2?
It wasn't bad, but after all this time, I would have liked something a little better. Like, I actually remind myself of Mo.
He's like, it wasn't bad, it just wasn't good.
It wasn't good enough.
If this were like a middle of the season episode, I'd have been fine with it. But I just wanted something a little bigger for the season premiere.
Okay. That's fair. Look, I would have thought that the like Knights of the Old Republic references by themselves would have at least given it like a thumbs up from you, even if it wasn't like phenomenal.
I missed them.
I missed them too. What I didn't miss was David Cho's graffiti.
Who's David Cho?
David Cho's a graffiti artist, awesome graffiti artist, but his graffiti transcends graffiti and goes into fine art. Like it's over pop art. Like
it was in the beginning.
Yeah, when he goes to get the information from the dude and you see that graffiti in the back, that's all David Cho art. And David Cho art, like he's the dude that I think like he did the mural on Facebook's like headquarters and got like the stock, like some like 10% stock for one of his, because he's like really good. And I've actually met him a couple times. Really cool dude.
Paid him stock.
Cool nice. Yeah. And they just paid him his stock. He's like, yeah, whatever. Like, he liked what they were doing at the time. So he's like, yeah, I'll just do it. And they just gave him stock because they had to give him something legally. And this was 5 years before. And then when it came out, he's a millionaire.
Wow.
Yeah, like, I don't know who he is, but I just looked up some of his stuff. And it's amazing. Yeah. On
Instagram, he's done some superhero shit too, because he likes comics, of course. That's what makes as a kid, that's what gives you the graffiti art to a certain degree. It's pop art, and it's like, I want to put Spider-Man here.
Right.
And
Now, did anyone else find the cage fight at the beginning to be bad?
It wasn't particularly great, but it was, to me, it was about the exposition.
Yeah, but are you saying like the actual way that the things were fighting? What are those? I can't remember the names of the freaking aliens all of a sudden.
Mandalorians.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, the way their axes were, the energy thing, it was weird. Like, It was like they were hitting walls. Like you would just see like a wall of, and it was odd. I didn't like it.
I mean, they weren't supposed to kill each other, though, right? Like it was like some sort of safety guard type thing or something, right?
Well, at the end, they're telling them to kill the guy.
Hmm.
So I don't know why you would have a safety guard if you were just gonna kill him.
Anyway,
It's like if you went to a fight and over the top, and all of a sudden at the end they tell them to kill each other.
it's like this arm wrestling's gotten out of hand.
Yeah. It's arm wrestling in Fight Island.
I know in chess it was wrestling.
Yeah, it was wrestling.
Hey, it might have. We don't know how the world works after the Battle of Yavin.
That information broker, was that John Leguizamo?
Yeah.
He's good.
Oh,
He's
I didn't
amazing.
recognize him.
Yeah.
He's always been good, but I was just like, oh, it was cool to see him do like some character work like that, just because I feel like I haven't seen him do something like that since
Spawn.
since Spawn. Yeah. Like, you know, I was like, man, I think that's John Leguizamo.
Well, he does stuff where it would be like, I mean, because there's no prosthetics, you know it's John Leguizamo, but he does like he'll play twins, like drastically different personality twins, and does it really well.
Oh yeah, no, he's phenomenal. Has been doing some other. I'm sorry, I guess I shouldn't have said character work because, right, like that would be considered character work. I guess what I'm like, you know, I haven't seen him like in a costume or anything like that in a while, but it definitely made me think about Spawn, and I was like, man, I think that's John Leguizamo. That's cool.
Yeah. And then I forget the guy's name. It's so I hate that because he's so good, but he plays the brother in Something About Mary, the like developmentally challenged brother, and he plays like a lot. Well, he plays a bartender, I believe, in Deadwood, the HBO Western series. What?
It's just that you can remember like this guy, all these like little roles.
Well, he's really good. This is how good he is. I don't remember where I've seen him. I just know he's good in everything he's been. And then he's in Justified, with both of which have Timothy Oliphant in them. So he plays opposite that guy, and so he's the bartender in The Mandalorian. So he the two dudes from Justified, which is an amazing show, and Deadwood, which is another really good show.
Yeah.
W. Earl Brown.
Yeah, that's what it is.
What's his name?
W. Earl Brown.
Yeah, Whirl Brown.
He was Kenny in Scream.
He's who in Scream?
Kenny.
Is that the crazy one?
No, the cameraman.
The cameraman in Scream?
Yeah, I believe that was the cameraman in Scream. I only saw Scream like 3/4 of a time.
Okay. Why? Why haven't you seen Scream all the way through?
The idea of a satire slasher movie didn't sit well with me when I was 14 or 15. So I was against it, and then Emily made me watch it, and then I watched it. I sat down and watched it, but I say 3/4 of it because I know at some point I was listening to Dark Side of the Moon in my head.
Okay. Yeah, I so okay. So just, you know, I know I brought it up and didn't say what, but the KOTOR reference is the crate dragon.
Oh,
and
okay.
And they have the pearl. The pearl is kind of what seals it, even though because I feel like maybe a crate dragon might be referenced in other like parts of Star Wars lore, but like that pearl is very much like about like that's like I remember it playing KOTOR. That's how that's how like I guess not fundamental, but like how like if you played the game, it's one of those things like if you do that mission, which because I don't think you have to, Maybe you do, but it sticks with you.
I knew the Crate Dragon was from the games. Like I know you fight them in the Old Republic.
Yeah.
Or where's the Old Republic? Yeah, I know you fight them on Tatooine.
Yeah.
There's no Pearl.
Yeah.
In that game.
Yeah, in KOTOR is where the Pearl is. So, yeah, man. So I don't know, man. I know for me, like I really enjoyed that first episode a lot. Like I felt like it was a good start. I like that. Well, I won't say that I like, much like how the first season, like as far as the episodes, like at least when I remember watching the first season of Mandalorian, and it felt to me as though like, okay, well, these are going to be almost like little vignettes. And then as you get further into the season, you start realizing like there's connective tissue between some of the things that you've seen. And ultimately it ends up kind of, like everything kind of wraps around and connects to each other. So you can watch it both individually or as an individual episode and as a whole up until you get to maybe like the last couple episodes, I guess, And so I felt like, okay, this is cool. Like, obviously there's some aspects of this that you're gonna like, or we'll probably revisit later, but which ones, who knows, because it's the Mandalorian, and it might be the ones that we think, and it might be ones that, other ones that we had no idea that was important because its significance, it won't be revealed until halfway through the season or something like that. But it's an interesting, I mean, a well put together show. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It's probably my favorite Western. It's like, yeah, it's good stuff.
Well, now it is because they started using those aspect ratios.
Oh, but before they used the aspect ratios, it couldn't have been my favorite Western.
No, it's just your favorite Kurosawa knockoff or your favorite Lone Wolf and Cub.
Right. Right. I did enjoy seeing how also how it is that it's almost like the relationship has evolved just a little bit between the Mandalorian and the child, and how it's like he understands, like they understand how each other works, and it's like they don't have to even communicate with each other really anymore at a particular point. They just like, okay, well, it's about to go down.
Now, am I the only one that appreciates that the Force wasn't used in this episode?
I mean, I know for me, it's like, I wouldn't have been mad if they did.
Yeah.
But it was definitely something where I noticed that he kept the kid out of the fray.
I also noticed.
Because it did seem like they're up against unsurmountable odds. I'm regurgitating that phrase. But, it would seem like an easy cop-out to use the Force at some point for anything. And it didn't. And I think the story was better for it.
Yeah. I did think it might have happened. Like there was a point where I thought it might happen in the beginning, and it didn't. And yeah, it was cool, like the way it went down in and of itself.
Tiger Clan chat says, so the Mandalorian is a better space western than Firefly?
I would say no, but that's my opinion. I don't know what you all think. Well, there you go.
Because I haven't seen Firefly.
Oh, Jesus. Break the tie, Jay.
I haven't seen Firefly either.
Oh,
so say no.
Damn it! Where is Oz? I would hang up on both of you. Oh, look, this could be a solo show, right? I could friggin' just pull a Bobby Blackwolf and just talk to myself for an hour and a half.
Like,
I could do that.
When would I ever have a chance to watch Firefly?
What are you saying, Jay? When you say when would I have a chance? Like when you say that, are you talking about time or are you talking about means? I'm like, what exactly do you mean? Like Firefly, like
it's not on Prime.
I think it's on Crackle.
Yeah, fuck Crackle.
I don't want to hear it from you, Jay, because there was opportunity to watch it.
It's not on. What else do I have? HBO Max. It's just not where.
It might end up on Disney Plus at one point because it was Fox, right, that put it on.
I think so.
I had a chance to watch it at quarantine, and I always have the issue where they go to that dinner party episode, and I always fall asleep during the dinner party episode. And during quarantine, I fell asleep during the dinner party episode again. So
it's on Hulu.
He doesn't have Hulu.
I'm gonna have that until the 20th.
Okay, well, when the 20th comes, you should watch Firefly.
After Monsterland.
What is Monsterland? Nobody knows what that is.
No, I know what it is. That shit's amazing.
Mo's the only one that knows what that is.
This is an anthology show on Hulu about monsters. Like, I got into it because I thought it was based on the movie Monsterland, but it's not. It's its own thing. But I'm still interested.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I enjoy it a lot, but it's more about the characters than the horror. So it's actually more like gothic horror, but it's modern, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, like I want to see that after Animaniacs, of course.
Mm-hmm.
This is why Jay hasn't seen Firefly. And the mess up part is Jay would like Firefly. Like Jay would become a fan and, be one of those people that would be like, oh, you ever seen Firefly? And it's like, hey, man, you don't ever say you didn't see Firefly to anybody. You don't ever say that.
I mean, it's weird. It came out at a time where I just was not watching TV.
No, nobody's faulting you for not watching Firefly when it came out, because like literally there's like 36 people that did that, and they look, we give them a medal every time we see them, but it got canceled before the whole season aired, like literally. So there's nobody's gonna knock you for not having seen Firefly when it came on television, but like not only do you know in general, but I've told you personally, Firefly is something you should see and that it's good and you would like it, and you just I don't know.
It's around when I have time.
Oz and I are gonna do Firefly on the first season of Two Dicks on Two Dick.
Two Dicks on Two Dick.
Why are you laughing?
It's just weird. It's a funny title.
But that's
like,
what
are you guys actually going through with that?
Yeah, we're gonna do it eventually.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't talked to Oz about it at all, but I assume we're gonna do it. I mean,
there it is. At the beginning of every episode, they touch tips.
Definitely.
Well, that's the animated intro. It's two dickheads that look like two dick kissing each other.
Why do they look like
because it's two dick on two dick?
Oh, so weird. He made it really weird.
Like, don't test me, Larry. You bring it up, I'll step it up a notch.
Like, yeah, man. I feel like that's more than a notch.
My favorite thing in life is to make you laugh and cringe at the same time.
Oh man. Okay. So I mean, obviously, we got more Mandalorian to come. We got, I mean, the end of the joint definitely, leaves us a lot to anticipate. And then of course there's a lot that was happening or that happened at the end of the last season too, so which we didn't even touch on in this first episode, so it's like, who knows where we're gonna go? Like, what I can say is, I do agree with Moses. The episodes are too short. Every episode in this season is too short, and there are not enough of them. I agree. I can say that preemptively.
But I'd rather have it like this than have it be having to wait 2 years for a full length and still not get enough story. Yeah.
Or worse, like it be more and it feel like bloated or poor quality.
Or Disney decide they hate Jon Favreau and take the 400-page script down to 90. How they did J.J. Abrams.
Is that what they did to J.J. Abrams? Where?
Yeah, we talked about it on the show on the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Disney got mad that he sold Bad Robot to Warner Brothers, and they butchered that script.
And that's why it's like that.
That's why feels like there's things missing. They even cut down the movie too.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, okay. I feel like I'm sure they did exactly what you said they did. I don't know if that's why the movie's not good though.
Well, no, that's not why it's not good, but it would have been it would have made a lot more sense for that movie to be that way or be what it was. If we actually, for Lando to look at that slave girl like, "Hey girl." It would have been worse because it's his daughter in the original script, but at least there would be like a connection. Like everybody's like, "Oh, just Lando's a pimp," but it's like, no, they have a connection. That's his daughter,
and he's a pimp.
Yeah, hey, you could run for president with that rhetoric.
All right, cool. So, are we we're not rating Mandalorian, right? We're just gonna keep it moving.
I'm giving the first episode 5 neck faces out of 5.
5 neck faces.
Yeah.
Dude, that thing was so creepy.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know which neck face you're talking about, but
well, it actually fits this episode. It might be the title of this episode, neckface.com. Because David Cho has a neck face. But then the movie we're going to talk about right now, Tomie has a neck face too.
yeah,
Okay.
Creepy, grotesque.
Hold on,
Jay,
we got to play the scary review theme.
Wait, what, Jay? What are you gonna give Mandalorian then?
Oh, just a 3.
Got it.
More.
Got it. I'll give it a 4. I liked it a lot. Ready for more. All right, go ahead, Moses. I thought didn't we have a version of that with something like with some words in it? I thought we did.
Not for a horror movie.
Oh, that's just the instrumental. Got it. Oh, okay.
No, for scary comic reviews, we have it.
Oh, you should have just went with that. It's okay.
That's that one.
Scary comic book review. Scary.
Yeah, but we're not talking about scary comic books. We're talking about scary movie.
You should just pause it and be like movie.
Look, it's already like that. You want me to do that too? I'll do that too.
It's okay.
No, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Movie.
It used to be so rare that we talked about scary shit. So
Yeah,
it
it's
didn't
true.
like have anything. Now I'm all of a sudden I'm scrambling, and I don't want to go on fire.
You don't have to scramble. We'll have it for next Halloween season.
I already spent too much money on Fiverr.
But we have a comic book theater theme.
Theater. But we talk about comic book movies all the time.
Yeah, but Tomie is a comic book movie.
Yeah, technically, and it's scary and comic book. So I guess that.
Do you say Tomie? Is that how you say it?
Yeah,
Didn't you watch the movie?
Comic book theater. Comic book theater.
Okay, I know what I'm gonna do.
Theater.
I'm gonna do a mashup. So next week we got to think of a scary comic book movie that we can review. So that I'm gonna do a mashup of those two, and yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be unlike anything you've ever seen.
Okay,
Big
so
league.
Tomie. I forget the exact context in which we decided to review Tomie. I know this came up because of The Color of Space. We were talking about how their characters weren't really well developed and how it works in a short story, but it may not work in a movie. And so we decided to see another short story turned into a movie, Tomie, which is a series of Junji Ito comics based around a character who inspires men to love her until they kill her. And it's been a pretty successful film franchise in Japan.
It's like 8 of them, right?
9.
9.
Which
Jesus,
into making.
really?
And
What?
we watched the 9th one, Tomie Unlimited, which came out in 2011.
Wait, is that what we watched?
Mhm.
Yes.
I'm not sure I watched that. Is that what I watched?
I don't know. Well, we'll talk about it and then see.
Watched the one on Prime?
I watched the one on Prime.
Yeah, that's Tomie Unlimited.
Oh, it doesn't say unlimited in the title, though, right?
I mean,
On the first part it does.
Larry, you promoted the show all week with a picture of the poster that says Tomie Unlimited on it. Like you posted that picture on every social media platform all week.
But I never said it told me unlimited in any of the descriptions.
That look,
Yeah.
'cause you're not paying attention to the picture.
Yeah, the title on Amazon just says Tomie.
Oh,
Artwork, it's Tomie Unlimited.
And you can't go by Amazon because that's the first knockoff of this review, this knockoff point, because Prime says it's in English.
oh, does it?
Yeah.
Is there like a dub?
I don't know if there's a dub, but there's not one on Amazon.
Got you.
So, Tomie Unlimited starts out with a schoolgirl and her sister Tomie kind of hanging out, talking to boys, and then Tomie gets impaled by a
It's a girder.
by a girder, and she dies.
As someone impaled by a girder tends to do.
Right. But then she comes back and starts freaking out her sister as she's driving everyone to love her and to kill her. And in this one, her body parts are kind of getting all over the place. And they're forming different Tomies. And so you've got this collection of Tomies that are trying to drive people to love them to the point where they kill her. And she actually does have this weird obsession with her sister where she's trying to like just
Possess
fuck
her,
with
right?
her.
Yeah.
But she's trying to what?
Fuck with her.
Okay, that's not what you said, Bo.
No, I thought possessor. Like try to be one with her. So she could, but I've never seen any of the other Tomies, so I don't know.
Right. This is also my first Tomie movie. Like I thought I did mention last week that I've never seen them, but I was just taking the opportunity with our reflections of The Color of Space to kind of watch this other movie based on a short story. And so, yeah, like this is Tomie just fucking with this girl, her sister, and making everyone love her till they kill her.
Now I have so many questions.
All right.
For first of which being, why, Joe? Why?
Why is she making everyone love her till they kill her?
Why did I have to watch it? Why did I have to watch it? Why me?
You know,
You were the one that said that I forget exactly what you said, but it was in relation to the character development being translated from a short story to a movie. And so you had to watch this to see if your opinion of the character development from a short story to a movie was the same in The Color of Space as it is in Tomie.
Got it. I will take that as a valid answer as to why I had to watch it.
Right.
Now, my next question is there something that you saw in this movie that let you know that Tomie had to or wanted to make men fall in love with her until they killed her? Or is that what you got because of the short stories that you have read previously?
Yes, I got that from the short stories.
Okay. Because there's nothing. Huh?
Yeah, it might not be. I mean, it is the 9th movie, though. I guess they figure that there were, the people who kind of got it at that point.
They're like, you don't need to know that he got bit by a radioactive spider.
It's
interesting. Spider-Man, goddamn.
It's interesting that you bring up that origin of Spider-Man for one, Larry, but that they don't say that because it is the 9th movie, but it's also the origin. Which in none of the stories I've ever read of Tomie, like I it got to a point where I thought she just didn't have an origin. Like you don't know how she came to be. She just pops up in different people's lives.
But is this really an origin?
Origin. Tomie Origins is the origin.
I haven't read that.
No, that's the movie.
Again, but this one shows how she gets killed and shit, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't tell you anything about why she's doing what she's doing.
But, hold on. But in the comics that I've read, there's been no origin. She's like Logan.
I would say this movie doesn't have an origin either.
Okay.
Like if you think of the impalement as her origin, it's like, no, that's just her getting killed.
Right.
She existed before this movie. She'll exist after this movie. This is just a Tomie getting killed and doing her back to life then.
Okay. Because, all right. I guess if you're going to make that excuse for it, because the whole conversation of her, what's in your mind, and we taking the picture, and then she dies in that moment, and then the camera keeps taking pictures, stylistically, artistically, maybe because I'm just stupid American and not Japanese. To me, that cements that guilt of jealousy and lust for someone you love. All those things combined into creating some type of vengeful spirit.
I mean, I understand exactly what you're saying, Moses. Like in an American movie, that moment would have had some sort of greater significance, but in this movie, I don't think it does. Which is weird.
I think it's implied because it's the 9th movie.
But I guess even if it's implied, it's like, let's say it's implied, they don't ever go back to it.
Well, everything she does is she's essentially getting revenge on her sister for having those negative feelings of her that led her to her death. If she hadn't been talking about, oh, I think you're jealous of me, or things like that, she wouldn't have been impaled.
Well, listen, if she had just did a tuck and roll, she would have been impaled. They both looked at the joint falling on her. Like, I know they kind of try to play it like it's slow motion, but it really wasn't slow motion. It's
everything in this movie was slow motion that wasn't slow motion. Okay, like they actually said we're gonna do slow motion here, and then the actress just runs in slow motion. I was like, no, we're gonna shoot this in slow motion. You don't need to run in slow motion, you know?
I'm just like, yeah. Yeah.
I will say that does happen sometimes where just our American sensibilities don't translate to when we're watching a foreign film. Like we will sometimes put emphasis or
Right.
put extra on something that doesn't actually have that meaning.
Right. That's why I need an English dub version.
When in the English dub version, the scene is different.
Yeah, the conversation will be different. You know, like the conversation will have more context than the actual written, because when they do the actual written, it's the Japanese company doing Google Translate. You know what I mean? Instead of actually having a director that knows both languages or something, and an actor telling an actor what to do, what how to say it with tonality. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you mean. And so this is again like one of these things where I'm just like, and actually, you know what? I don't know what I want to say next.
I know what you want to say.
You all talk.
I know what you want to say. Joe's thing about the short story translating to movie doesn't work for what you were saying about Color Out of Space. And so much so that this movie is actually like 4 different Tomie comics that just overlap over each other. You know? So there's no real character. Like the characters do weird things, like the dad eating her hair and shit. Like that works in a Junji Ito short story, but in a long form movie, like how did I go back to my dad's house when I just saw him trying to eat my sister's hair? Like, yeah.
Oh, look, before all that, like, what is the rule for how you're supposed to react when, like, here's the thing. Okay, here's what I'll say. If a member of my family disappeared, and and that they hadn't shown back up, and we were like, man, you know what? They've been gone so long, they're probably just dead. And we feel like, okay, they're dead. Maybe we have a funeral or some sort of service because we're just assuming they're dead because, and, that's how we're moving on. And then they show up at the door and we're like, whoa, we thought you were dead. That's one thing. If your family member dies in front of you and you have like a funeral and everybody knows like, hey, they died. Like this was a thing that had happened. We documented it. It's like, shouldn't there be some sort of rule or whatnot? Like when that person shows up at the door, you're like, no, we're not all gonna mess around and just treat you like, oh, we're just so glad to see you. We thought you were dead. It's like, well, no, we didn't think you were dead. We know you were dead. Like we saw you die.
Well, the sister was always kind of on the tip that she was a monster.
Right.
And she came back.
But the parents weren't trying to hear that at all. And the sister didn't push the issue.
I can explain the parents.
Okay.
And it basically goes to the nature of Tomie, like herself. She is like, I don't think succubus is the right word, but it's not far off.
It's like
head. And the whole thing, like her being around you, it makes you love her, and it makes you throw out all reason.
Okay.
Like, they know that she died, but the nature of her makes them like ignore it, and it makes them love her, and it makes them
want her and keep her and possess her.
Until they kill her. which is the fate of Tomie. Tomie's fate is to be killed by the people that love her. And she's kind of into it, but like really what she's into is the love and adoration. Like she craves that. Like that's what she gets out of the deal. And she knows that they're going to kill her because that's what happens.
Mm.
She feeds off that energy of the lust, the jealousy, possessiveness, those negative side, that other side of that coin of love, you know? And that, like you said, that's her fate. She's destined to die because that's part of her punishment. You don't know why. Yeah. You know, I thought it was because she's trying to take the guy that her sister liked in this movie, but apparently that's not an origin. So,
but the guy wasn't trying to get with the sister.
It's not about that. She knows her sister likes him.
Go ahead.
She basically, and that is the thing. It's weird because I am coming into this movie with knowledge of Tomie, and like listening to you from the questions you're asking, like, and the fact that it is the 9th movie, like I could see how coming into this you kind of would just be lost. Like this is the 9th movie, and I know nothing about this. Like it was interesting. I was thinking back to when I reviewed Death, the animated joint versus the comic, and I had no really frame of reference because the animated joint is, I guess, what a typical story is like, but the joint I read was like a completely different scenario to what it normally does, and so I couldn't I could only judge them on their own. I couldn't have I couldn't
contrast it.
Contrast. But with this, because I do have knowledge of Tomie and how she works and what happens, I can digest everything that's happening. But I can imagine if you don't, that it's like this is just batshit crazy. Like
that's exactly how I felt.
And I remember watching that scene where the dad is like licking the hair, and I was thinking to myself, was like, I know exactly what this is about, but I don't think Lawrence will. Like, I don't think the guys will, because you don't know that she makes you obsess over her. Like, that's the nature of her. She makes you obsess over her and do just weird shit, and like that's just kind of how she is.
So I actually got to have a conversation with Larry before he saw Tomie, and before I saw it too. And I mentioned a kabuki story that is similar to Tomie in a sense, and not as grotesque and things like that, and how Tomie is becoming a Japanese tattoo theme in the same way that the Hanya mask is similar. And I'm like, I want the Tomie to be that, because it's a modern thing. It's like a modern legend. 1,000 years from now, they'll be telling stories of Tomie, from what I know. And that's kind of what I told Larry. It's like that just raw negative emotion that comes with love is what Tomie brings up upon, and that causes that weird infatuation and obsession to the point of just crazy jealousy. And watching it with Emily, like, she had no idea what's going on. She never heard me talk about Tomie at all. I probably have, but just in passing, nothing like, oh, I read this is awesome. I save those conversations for you guys. But but she's like, this is weird. Joe picked this, right? And I'm like, yeah. It's like, I go, no, but I'm enjoying this. This is like, I read the comics every chance I get. And so I was explaining like the same thing with the dad licking. Like, that was one of the things, like, what the fuck's he doing? I'm like, well, it's a weird expression of that dirty love. Yeah. It's like eating ass. Yeah.
Is that what it's like?
Well, I don't know. I never licked anybody's hair, but
hilarious.
But But yeah, it's just that weird expression of that he's so obsessed with her emotionally and that he doesn't control anything, and he has to lick her hair while she eats foie gras and caviar.
Dude, I thought that was hilarious too, where where she was demanding caviar and foie gras, and I was just like, wow, like that's all very expensive stuff. And I'm like, the family looks like they do decent for themselves, but not so much that, like, they definitely don't have caviar and foie gras like on hand. I know that.
But Japan might not have it.
Tomie has expensive taste.
Well, because that's another expression of that addiction she creates in people, is that they're willing to lose. Their addiction is defined by the inability to change things despite consequences. So, losing money is one of the consequences that they when you're in recovery that you got to look at. Yeah, did it cost you money? Did it cost you health? Did it cost you wealth? Did it cost you love? So, yeah. So that's her saying the foie gras was a little not too subtle to me, but that's the only thing as an American I can understand from Tomie and the obsession people have.
Here's another question I had where I was just like kind of blown away by this, and I was just like, I feel like I watch enough like anime and Japanese movies that this probably should have come up before this moment, but apparently it hadn't. Do the Japanese people not have a birthday song? Like they were singing like American Happy Birthday.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah.
They sing the American Happy Birthday song?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Dude, they're... Oh, wait. I was about to say something incredibly racist.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for holding that in. I appreciate that, Jay. Thank
ching,
God.
ching.
The Japanese are heavily influenced by American culture.
Yeah, that I do know.
Both of, our occupation of their country, like they've taken to a lot of our values or what they think are our values. And just one of the things that happened to carry over is the Happy Birthday song.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I was blown away because I'm like, man, they are like out here singing Happy Birthday, and I'm just like, I'm like the Japanese people, I'm sure celebrate like birthdays before they met American people. Like they don't have a Happy Birthday song. Why are they singing that song? Like, because I mean, and don't get me wrong, I'm not.
And they might have some people that do use the Japanese song, but the majority use English American.
And I'm just saying, like that's not even the best Happy Birthday song. So I'm just like, what is it? Like, even if they're like, okay, we want to use the American one, why are we using that one? I don't like. Why don't they use 50 Cent? Or Stevie Wonder
or the Beatles?
Beatles.
You don't like. First off, you don't like when the Japanese sing rap songs.
What? What makes you feel that?
You hate it when any person that's not black says nigga.
You don't have to say the N-word. What's that have to do with Happy Birthday?
They do though. They don't.
You don't have to. It turns out there are options.
Yeah.
It's like, listen. I don't think that has anything to do with me. Like me not wanting people to say the N-word has nothing to do with whether they can sing Happy Birthday songs or not. Okay.
Were you hating Japanese people rapping?
No, right, exactly right. Like I was like, what is Joe talking about? I have no problem with Japanese people rapping in general.
That might be the title of this episode. You don't have to use the N-word.
They're going to do a cover. They don't have the same hangups. So when they do the cover, they say nigga because they don't care.
Like Charlize Theron.
Wait. Listen, I don't know what that means, but I'm just gonna go ahead and just like denounce that entire section right there.
Yeah, because
I'm sorry, Charlize.
Obviously, libel. I got the wrong actress wrong.
Oh, I was about to say, I'm like, what? I'm like, I don't know what we're talking about there. But
I make
saying,
goodness outro.
Anyway, though, enough of the bullshit. What we actually came here for the review for, Lawrence, was it scary? Was the blood and gore too much? Tell me how disturbed this film made you.
It was disturbing, definitely, in some portions. Not as much for the blood and gore, because I honestly don't feel like the blood and gore effects were done in they were a little campy, a little bit, not a lot of it, a little bit. But I was definitely disturbed in some portions where I was just like, ugh, like it's creepy as hell. I'll tell you from the beginning. From the beginning, where they're like, oh, like, yo, that's your sister over there. And it's like, yeah, it's like, she's like, oh, they're talking about picture perfect things. And what about picture perfect people? And like, oh, yeah, like, what about your sister? She's beautiful. Da, da. And the sister turns around, and I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, that chick is terrifying. And this is supposed to be her at her beautiful moment, but I'm just like, oh, my God. Like, I'm like, I don't, like, she's probably the most terrifying Japanese woman I've ever seen. So I don't know. Like that, it messed me up from there. I was just like, oh, okay, I see where this is going. And I was actually very like, I don't know, what's the right word? Let me put it like this. Her turning around and looking the way she looked took my anxiety level like to here. And then she got impaled, and I was just like, oh, okay. Like, I went down to here a little bit because I was just like,
she's dead.
Like, well, not that the way she got impaled, like the way the blood dripped, I was like, that doesn't look like blood. And I'm not mad at it, but I was a little surprised. And then I saw like the actual impalement thing, and I was kind of like, I don't know. Like I was kind of like here, and then her eye moved because she was looking at the camera, and then went back here, and I was like, oh, because I don't like when her eyes are terrifying. Her eye, because I guess technically you only see one at a time usually when it's like really messed up. When you see both of them, it's not as crazy as when you see the one eye, and she's just like, her eyeball just like, like that messes me up. And it's interesting because it's something that I'm used scarier in real life, for me at least. But overall, I do feel like this would have been better as an anime. Like I feel like the visuals of it would have been like probably a little bit more. Well, I don't know if it's more disturbing, but they definitely would have been pulled off in a different way. Like it was trying to be in my mind, it was trying to do the things that you would see in an anime or in a manga, and not necessarily pulling it off all the way. And yeah, it's weird though, man. Like, and I, a lot of just strange things. Like the lunch was not fun for me. I knew what was happening, but I was like, I knew what was going to happen, but still, when it actually did happen, I was like, oh, like even the fact that the effects were kind of wonky, I was still like, this is not fun to watch. Like, I don't want to see this. And I saw it like more than once, and I was like, this is too much. I don't want it. I don't want it. Like, it's a weird thing all around though. Like, I just like, it's a very strange thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that, but yeah.
How about the body horror shit? Like,
yeah, like the mouth on the shoulders and stuff.
Well,
yeah, like
more importantly, the caterpillars and the heads, like the shrunken heads as extremities on a hair frame.
Yeah. I none of that I liked. I didn't like any of that. But I will say that the hair caterpillar, it varies in regards to like how good
Yeah.
It was like there was some points where it was like, oh, that looks terrifying, and the other points where it's like, okay, like obviously something happened with the budget, you know. And when it looks good, it's like, yeah, it's pretty terrifying because, like, it's a hair caterpillar, which is like it's hair and face, and that's it. And the face we already talked about, though, the face with no CG by itself is terrifying. So you know. Let alone you put it on a caterpillar thing. And so I don't know. It's like they're like if you could mess around and put like a Hollywood budget to this kind of thing, I don't even know if I could have watched it. Because, you know, but it's just a lot of weird little things that just happen in throughout the course of the movie. Like the whole hair licking eating thing was a weird thing. And
That's
then
That's not that weird.
I mean,
As a
okay.
barber, you eat 300 hairs a day.
I mean, accidentally, not on purpose.
Oh, not on purpose.
Right.
Sometimes when I heat up my lunch, I'm like, yeah, fuck it.
I was like, dude, Home Chick, they have the smallest bathtub in the history of bathtubs, which I just chalked up to the idea of like, okay, well, hey, you know,
It's Japan.
It's Japan, right? But still, the two of them got in that joint, and I was just like, how small are these little girls? Like, you know, like these fools are like in little cubes next to each other in the bathtub.
Godzilla's only 6'7".
You are dumb. You are so dumb for that. So yeah, man, it's a wild movie, and yeah.
Let me go to chat real quick. Black Compat says the only acceptable Happy Birthday song is Stevie Wonder's version.
There it is. Look, it turns out no N-words in that version either, Japan, so feel free.
Big Man CJS says, at Fantastic Forum, did Mayor get reminded of the little girl in the bar?
I don't know what that means.
He probably hung out with you while you were drinking and saw a little girl at a bar.
The little girl at the bar. Oh, wait a minute. I actually might know. No, that was a little boy. Never mind. Continue. Continue.
Are we gonna rate this now, or
Yeah, now
Yeah.
it's time.
okay? I'm gonna give it 5 Tickle Me Elmos out of 5
Why Tickle Me Elmos?
because that's what the neck face sounded like when it was chasing.
It did.
Yeah,
It did.
and it's like at that point I'm like, I really need the English dub version. Like they would have had a better laugh.
Jeez. What would you rate it, Jay?
I would give it a 3. Like, overall, I did enjoy it. But you can see, like, how it's the 9th movie syndrome where they're not really explaining what's going on. They're expecting you to know what's happening already.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, I get it. Like, you're on your 9th one. People should know this already.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, for newcomers like yourself, it's like,
Yeah.
I can see how that would be a little disorienting.
Yeah. They totally could have just put something in, like, you know, you could put it in the credits if you want. Or a little, like, you know, you put a little paragraph at the front.
A scroll.
I mean, yeah, you could do a scroll too. Any of that can work. So, yeah, for me, I don't know, man. I guess I'd give it like a 3 because some parts of it I get and I understand what's happening. Like, you know, I don't think it was a terrible film. It's just that there's a lot that happens that made me ask a lot of questions, and so, you know. But yeah.
How did you feel about the character development of? I guess the sister is the only one that really focused on. Like, how did you feel her character development went as compared to the characters in The Color of Space?
It's more, but it's still not enough. Like, because at the end of the day, it's like I get that they're kind of saying that she felt as though, or she might feel as though her life would be better if the sister didn't get all the love that she did or all the attention. Um, but you know, it's one of those things where I'm not 100% certain that she felt that way. You know, she might have, but
Okay.
they don't tell us, and or they don't show us that was 100% the case. You know, it could have just been, you know, the thought, or I don't know. But either way, it's not like she killed her sister. You know, it's like a girder fell. I don't know that she made that happen. So
Right.
yeah, so I don't know.
Big Man CGS in chat says, "Have you already reviewed Hellstrom?" And we did talk about that last week.
Yeah. Actually, on YouTube, if you subscribe, hit the bell, everything, you're gonna have my little rant. Because I recorded that separately, so that should be coming in. I forgot to upload it over the weekend. It was a busy weekend.
What? Okay, cool. We do have a caller. Caller, you are the fourth
Hey,
member of Fantastic Forum. Tell people who you are, where you're calling from, and what you want to talk about.
hey, everybody. This is Normie from Zombie Cast, and I'm actually in my room, in my bed. I had fallen asleep, and I'm like, oh, crap! What am I missing tonight? And my
Normie!
eyes flew open. I'm like, oh, I was supposed to talk about the Mandalorian tonight. I can't believe I forgot. Like I was doing
Oh,
my homework. Literally, I fell asleep and I woke up like in sit up motion. So, guys, I totally apologize that I'm
nothing,
totally late about this.
nothing to apologize for, Normie. We would love to hear your opinion of the Mandalorian as well. Thanks for calling in. It's good to hear your voice.
Why, thank you very much. It's kind of fun to hang out with you guys. You guys are funny. I come
Oh, well,
into this
thank you.
butt
Thank you.
licking
Listen,
thing. I'm like, ew, gross. What the heck are they talking about?
hey man, listen. I wish I could tell you it was the first time that Moses had brought up butt licking, but I think I'd be lying to
Oh
you.
my
I think I'd be
gosh.
lying to you.
It's a cure-all.
You're right. You're lucky Oz wasn't here.
Oh my goodness.
So
So,
Nori, what do you think? What do you think of Mandalorian? Talk to us.
okay, so the first season was stellar, right? I was just like giddy as can be because I just love Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So I have very high hopes for the second season. You know, the first season was done so well that I think they have set a bar pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very excited for last Friday to see the episode, and I I didn't get to see it till later in the evening. So everyone's like, "Oh, it's so amazing! It's really great." But when I sat down to watch it, I'm like, like I didn't love it. I absolutely did not love it. I didn't hate it. It had some really
Mm-hmm.
good moments, especially if you're into the Star Wars lore, you know, where you saw the Sand People, you know, you got to see Boba Fett's gear,
Mm-hmm.
and those beautiful little moments were great. But I
Mm-hmm.
felt like they already did this story, right? In season
Mm.
one. So it wasn't amazing. I wasn't wowed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I still enjoy the series. And I guess it kind of, I don't know if you have touched on this or even heard about this, but supposedly, right as they were wrapping up season two, Pedro Pascal, who plays the voice of the Mandalorian, had
Mm-hmm.
supposedly made a really big stink about his face not being shown, and he was
Mm-hmm.
kind of thrown off the set
Mm-hmm.
pretty much for that. So it almost, knowing that kind of almost took away a little bit of that first episode of season two as well.
Now has
So,
that been
yes,
confirmed?
I don't know if it's been confirmed, but it was really all over the place. So I don't
Yeah,
know
no,
how
I
much
agree.
truth
Oh,
there
continue.
is to that.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, I mean, Pedro Pascal is my eye candy. So for this to happen was like really heartbreaking. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, Star Wars lore. I love it. Pedro
Mm-hmm.
Pascal is in this even better. And now
Mm-hmm.
this. So that was a little heartbreaking. I don't know. I mean, what did you guys feel? Are you know big Star Wars fans? Did you love the first season? I mean, sorry, the first episode of the second season. What was the overall consensus? with
Well,
you
I
all?
actually felt similar to you. Like, I liked it, but I just was a little bit underwhelmed. Like, for a season premiere.
Right.
I can see the underwhelming feeling from it because of how the final episode of the Mandalorian season 1 played out,
Right.
and then even seeing the recap and then going into this episode. But honestly, like as a spaghetti western fan myself, like this is what I've been waiting to see. Like this shot in this wide spectrum, the story, like it's a good. It's a like if you look at the Mandalorian as just a series of short uh, Star Wars fan films that connect eventually, you can have any kind of episode in between as long as
Mhm.
they eventually all connect. I compare it to like watching Supernatural. Eventually they'll get back to killing monsters, but then there's a bigger story too. And so some of those, if the balance is off, those seasons end up being not as good as the other ones. But yeah, I can see the underwhelming feeling here, but I didn't have that at all.
Well, that's good. I do like the little stories. I do like the little crumbs they give us, right? The little pieces
Hmm.
of the Star Wars world, and I like how they do a lot of throwbacks. They're all over the place with it, so
Yeah.
that feels good. That feels good. I just think they need to give us, these little stories to me have to have a little extra special ingredient, especially after giving us like such an iconic character. Like, I call him the yodeling, even though he is just the child.
Hmm.
So you give us that, and then I don't know, like the actor who is using the Boba Fett outfit. I don't know,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. Um, I don't know his name, but I think he's a fantabulous actor. I love him in Santa Clarita's Diet. So that was a great little moment right there. To
Hmm.
see that, I'm like, oh, and his character there's something noble about his character that I liked. He's just a regular Joe Schmo, but here he has like his almost like his Tony Stark suit on, and he is like the bad boy protecting everybody. So there's something sweet and endearing about that. I just think I need a little more oomph into the episode. And by the way, speaking on Supernatural, my friend Ed Sanchez actually directed several of the last episodes of Supernatural.
Oh wow, that's super
Yeah.
cool.
Well,
Yeah, I
But
know.
if you like
Oh, go ahead,
Timothy
Mo.
Oliphant being that type of Western character like that, you got to watch Justified because that's what that is. Like, there's no, it's not coincidence they picked him to play that character here.
okay,
Because yeah, you got to check that out.
Justified.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did also read that the character that he plays in the Mandalorian actually is a character that has come up that has existed in a Star Wars novel before now too. So
Oh.
it's interesting because it's like I mean obviously they're expanding on the character more because it was just like a small piece, but it was just interesting the idea that they're like, oh well, you could take a character that has already been on Tatooine and you know make him more. So yeah, that's interesting. I know personally, I enjoyed it thoroughly as well, and while I guess more than anything, I just anticipating more Mandalorian each week. But yeah, I liked it a lot, and I know for me, like being a big Knights of the or basically a big Old Republic fan. Like the Old Republic era is actually my
Mm-hmm.
favorite era of Star Wars, and like for them to kind of like throw back and give us some Easter eggs from KOTOR, it's like, come on, man, like that's definitely an easy way for me to be like, this is something good.
Right. It's just it is those little elements, right, that
Yeah.
just really make this great. And I really like how they gave us a little bit of a time frame. We learned that the rebels pretty much just beat the Empire, right? So we
Mhm.
have an idea as to where we are in the future. And it,
Mhm.
at the beginning of the first season, it almost made it feel like we were pretty far into the future, but we are not.
Yeah.
It's just almost like it just happened like a couple weeks ago, the whole,
Mhm.
the Empire coming all the way down. So that gave it a little more a good feel. And
Yeah.
I'm assuming we are speaking spoilers in this specific
Yeah, you can go
moment.
ahead.
So it's interesting because when we saw Boba Fett's oh my gosh, I'm telling you, I'm exhausted. I just woke up from
It's okay, Normie. Take
his
take your time, Normie. Take your time.
his super suit, right? His
Armor.
his armor. Thank you. We're
Mhm.
like, oh, that's Boba Fett. And my son's like, is it Boba Fett? And I said, no, but I bet you anything we're going to see Boba Fett at the end of this season or this
Mhm.
episode. So at the very end, obviously we can only assume that the man standing
Mhm.
there is Boba Fett, even if you hadn't seen his face beforehand. Do you know what I mean? Because
Right,
we
right,
know.
right.
Um, so anybody coming into this says, "Oh, I bet you that guy's the owner of that suit." If it's somebody who's
Mhm.
not in this world, right? So
Right.
that was really neat. I guess I touched a little bit on the sand people, but I thought that was cool that you know we all we could think of is Anakin just going crazy, taking down these sand people because they took his mom and pretty
Mhm.
much destroyed her and killed her. And then here they are now. The enemy of my enemy is going to be my friend. We're going to figure
Mhm.
out a way to work together to take down
Mhm.
this bigger enemy. So I really enjoyed seeing that.
Yeah.
Um, and it is those little elements, right? It is those
Mhm.
little tiny tidbits for someone who just enjoys this whole world to see that. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I know that. It's almost like when you first saw episode 1, right? And you're like, oh, this is Anakin. This is the future Darth Vader. It kind of gives you that feeling of like excitement and nostalgia when we're watching these episodes, right? I mean, I don't know about you all, but when I watched episode 1, 2, and 3, they're not my favorites, but I almost felt extra connected to Anakin in a whole nother level because I knew what his future entailed, right? Or
It's
meeting Queen Amidala, I knew
yeah.
her future. It felt like you were inside that window just watching everything,
It's
because
so
what happens.
it's so funny because I remember distinctly coming out of episode 1, and I remember how disappointed I was. Where I was just like, and don't get me wrong, it's like there's some very cool aspects and
Mhm.
elements of episode 1, that I would not like, because like from the standpoint of like lightsaber dueling, it's like, okay, we had never seen anything on
Right.
that level before. And so that by itself gives you something to come away with. But I was just like, man, like that was not a great movie. And I remember coming away from episode 1 and just like, that was not a great movie, man. And I was very disappointed. But I honestly though, the funny thing is though, um, they got progressively better in my opinion as far as the
Okay.
prequels. Like episode 3, I think is highly underrated, and I know a lot of people talk mess about it, but I feel like episode 3 is like a great Star Wars flick, and I feel like people like are definitely. I think all of us have re-examined the merits of the prequels since we've gotten this latest trilogy of Star Wars movies. But I think I think that it's one of those things. Like even before then, though, I felt like Episode 3 deserved a lot more credit than it got.
They have grown over me over the years. I think I find them endearing now. When
Hmm.
I mean, my first movie ever in the movie theater was Return of the Jedi, right? So, and
Oh wow.
I had older brothers who were teenagers, so I had, I had a background on Star Wars because of my older brothers. So to go to the movies for the very first time and see Return of the Jedi
Hmm.
was just like really cool because now I felt part of like this bigger world, right? Because I was always the little baby, obnoxious little sister, and here I had something big to talk to about with my brothers.
Yeah.
So seeing episode 1, 2, and 3, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I think it needed more direction, but over the years, I've seen those movies countless of times, and
Yeah.
now it almost feels like we I would be almost lonely without having those first 3 movies in existence.
Yeah.
It's
I know
weird
what you mean.
because it grows on you,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know, it did get a lot of slack, but I feel like more tied to Obi-Wan, right? I have a bigger
Mm-hmm.
appreciation for Darth Vader for watching him grow up as a little kid to where
Mm-hmm.
he came to be. So, and I think that's what George Lucas was aiming for people
Yeah.
to feel about those characters.
Oh,
It
absolutely.
just took a while to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So real quick in chat, Pinball Wiz says Darth Maul made the movie hands down.
Absolutely.
And Big
That's
Man
awesome.
CJS says, I always said episode 2 and 3 are good sci-fi movies, but bad Star Wars flicks.
Okay.
I don't know if I would agree with that. I don't know that they're bad Star Wars flicks, but you got to read this other comment too, Jay. This cracked me up.
Oh, Big Man CJS in chat says, I think we all remember where we were when we were first disappointed by Star Wars.
Ain't that the truth, brother? Ain't that the truth? But I feel like that's a testament to the franchise itself, though, where it's like we all I think all of us hold this franchise on such a pedestal, and that's the
Yeah.
thing, in the same way how there was a whole generation of people who the first Star Wars movie they ever saw were those prequels.
That's
And
right.
while they may not necessarily be like the most amazing Star Wars movies to us, for those people, they were like, man, this is an amazing thing. And so they weren't disappointed by those movies. They were like introduced and were like, wow, these movies are cool. And they got to be disappointed by it when these new prequel or these last trilogy came out, you know what I'm saying?
Came
And
about.
it's like, but I think it's really interesting, the idea that we kind of and I don't know this for a fact, but there very well might be a generation of people who think that this last trilogy, like, that's great Star Wars movies. I find that harder to comprehend, but I might feel different about it, when the next set of Star Wars movies come out, like, who knows? Who knows? I don't know. Because here's the
I think
thing.
that's absolutely a really valid comment because we had our son grow up watching Star Wars, right? I started him in, I believe, the correct order, starting with 4, 5, and 6, and then moving on. But I think it's a generational thing because
It is.
he hands down swears that episode 1, 2, and 3 are the better episodes. And I'm like, kid, have I not taught you anything? What is wrong with you?
Absolutely.
But
He's rebelling.
it's a generational thing. And in fact, my friend Ed, who directed a couple of the Supernatural episodes, he's a huge Star Wars fan. And we were having this conversation that he himself agrees that it's a generational thing. Episode 1, 2, and 3 when those came out, that generation appreciates those 3 over the original, 4, 5, and 6. And I, for one, I will defend 7, 8, and 9 like nobody's business. So
really?
I absolutely love all 3 of those. And the last one, I actually went to go see the very last one 4 times in the theater because I could not get enough of it.
What?
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
God, Normie. Oh,
I
Jesus.
will
Well,
fight
listen,
you on this.
Normie,
I will fight you on this.
I'll tell you right now. I'm not trying to fight you right now
That's
because there's not enough.
Yeah.
Right. There's not enough time in today or tomorrow for us to fully have this conversation.
That might be our next Comic-Con at home panel because this shit ain't going nowhere.
Right. Right, for real. Right. Because I'm just like, what? Like,
absolutely.
I don't know that I've ever been more disappointed in a Star Wars movie than in this friggin' Rise of Skywalker joint where I just like, because that's the thing, like, I wasn't a big Last Jedi fan, but I think a lot of that was the initial shock of what I was seeing the first time. And when I went back to go watch it the second time, I was like, you know what? This is actually a much better movie now that I see it again and like got over myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But Rise of Skywalker, man.
Rise of Skywalker is amazing. And you know what? I have to tell you that and I'll tell you this. This is what I really loved, especially, is that, I mean, I don't know if you watch, Clone Wars, but, we talk about great Jedis. So, and that's what I loved about Kylo Ren, because I think he was one of them. He teeter-tottered between, the dark side and the light side, and he made his character was so much more powerful because of that, because he just fought this feeling deeply. So I don't know, it's just, I don't know, Rise of Skywalker, if I could hug a movie, I would totally hug that movie. And I probably saw that movie like after the theaters. We've seen it like 10 more times at my house. We just watch it over and over and over again.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Like, it's funny because I got like friggin' Disney Plus like day one. I have yet to watch that movie. Like I'm at some point I'm saying to myself like I'll go back and I'll watch it again. But dude, I don't know that I've ever been more disappointed coming out of a Star Wars movie. And so I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna take a break. Like, especially here's the thing. Like, and just how we're saying, like, every generation has their set of Star Wars movies. It's like this generation got like The Force Awakens, and then they got like The Last Jedi, which you can have your thoughts about how good those movies are, but this generation also got Rogue One. Rogue One is one of the best Star Wars movies ever made, period, in my opinion.
I agree with that. Rogue One
was good too.
Absolutely.
Solo was good too.
Solo was a good movie. I agree.
Solo, I think was okay.
Oh, how dare you? Look, Normie, thanks for being on the show. We appreciate you. Feel free to go back to bed. Like, we know you got to get up early, Normie. You know what I'm saying? Get your rest. Like, Jesus. Oh, man. I love it, though. But I definitely want to have this conversation at another point. And understand that we're going to be having some Star Wars conversations relatively soon anyway, just because we got all this High Republic stuff coming up. And I know that, I was happy to hear earlier in the show, Joe said that he's excited about it, because I know I am too. And I didn't know if anybody else was, but I think it's going to be good because, or at least I'll say this, I'm excited about it just because it's an era of Star Wars that up until this point, we haven't really explored at all.
Right.
And they're doing like the whole multimedia kind of deal with it. So there's going to be novels, there's going to be comics. I think they're going to do a TV show, but I don't like, I didn't feel like they've kind of hinted at it, but it seems like, basically it sounds in some ways like Disney is trying to stake their claim to this era so that they can be like, okay, this is an era that we can say this is what happened definitively, and nobody can be like, oh, but what about the canon? So I think that they're gonna hang their hat in that era. So we got a lot of that coming up, and so we can all dissect and decide how we feel about it all together. So I'm excited for us to be able to have those conversations and then go dive deeper into the merits of all these different movies.
Absolutely. This is definitely a good time to be a Star Wars fanatic. There's just so much that has come out and that is coming out. So this is the perfect time to be a Star Wars fanatic.
And I will tell you, Normie, like, I don't know how much of an actual like comic reader you are, but the current Star Wars comic books are actually all really good. And they definitely like explore a lot of different aspects of the Star Wars universe, like a lot of the different eras we're already familiar with, but have really interesting and cool takes. So whether you want to read about like Darth Vader, or if you want to read about like the kind of like the original trilogy kind of characters, or even some like newer characters that kind of have spawned out of some of those eras. It's like, yeah, the current Star Wars comics are really good. I would definitely suggest you check them out if you're looking for like some additional Star Wars stories.
Sounds
I
good.
think Dr. Aphra in particular is a really good book.
Yeah, Dr. Aphra is really good.
Okay, sounds
Yeah.
good. I'll definitely have to check into that.
Yeah, cool. So Norm, oh, go ahead.
Oh,
What do you say, Jay?
we got a lot going on in chat.
Oh, go ahead.
So Pinball Wiz says, I think it comes down to what your expectations were. Did you expect episode 4, 5, and 6 story and style? Because that's not what the first 3 are supposed to be. Yeah, I
It's
don't
a good
know.
take on that.
Big Man CJS says, same here, Normie showed the original ones to the kids first.
Nice.
He also says episodes 7 and 8 are okay. Pinball Wiz says the last 3 are just Star Wars emo movies.
That's great.
You're a fool for that one.
Essentially, like that wave of Jedi, that's all it is about, too. Because when you talk about great Jedi, like you have to be able to harness those emotions in a balanced way. Yeah. So you're gonna fall. You're walking a tightrope. Essentially, you're always gonna fall one way or another. That's what makes Luke so great. That's what makes Kylo and Rey so great. That's what made Qui-Gon Jinn so great. Mace Windu. All those are great Jedi. The greatest Jedis you've seen on screen have been great Jedis. And they're always getting, we need a third party.
Says, if I could hug a movie should be the title of this episode.
It's hilarious.
Big Man CJS says Kylo Ren is interesting and that his whole motivation is that he was afraid of Boogeyman Luke. Pinball Wiz says the last 3 crushed me. They had the original cast continue and end the saga, and then we got 3 after-school specials. Kylo Ren, how to communicate with your parents properly storyline.
That's hysterical.
Kylo Ren, how to communicate with your parents storyline.
Oh
dude.
Dude, but
That's funny.
seriously, talking about that line in the last movie, when he sees, oh dear Lord, Han Solo, and they're having that, he's having that conversation again.
Yeah.
Seriously, this movie is amazing. We have to sit down and watch it together, Mary Young.
Listen,
yeah, I'm going to make you.
You don't want to watch that movie with me. Like, that's not going to be a good time for you. Like, that's not going to be a good time for. Listen, I'm not the one. Like, there are people that will like, oh yeah, I want to sit next to you and rip this movie apart and make you not like. I don't look. I take perfect joy in the fact that you can find the
Force. I feel the Force in this movie.
The good part of that movie, right? Yeah, exactly. Like, you know what? I'm happy that you're happy. Like, I wish I could be happy like that about it too. I just don't think I can, and I don't want to like take any of your joy. I don't take.
That's
I
because
take
you don't
no
have
pleasure.
me whispering in your ear, telling you how good this part is or how good that part is.
Hey, listen,
I'll make a believer out of
now.
you. I'll make a believer out of you.
I don't know. Listen, I can't be held responsible for what happens if people when whispering in my ear during Star Wars. Like, wait a minute, girl, get out of here. Wait a minute, girl.
There's a reason why we don't do the show in the same room anymore.
Like, get out of here, Moses. I know what you're trying to do. I don't do that.
Why is your whisper wet?
It's like these urges are terrible. No. Oh man.
TJS in chat says read Death Plague was surprisingly good.
I think it
Darth.
Now Death Plaquois.
I would have said Plagueis too.
Oh, it's Darth Plagueis, but he misspelled it. Autocorrect.
Death Plaquois. Oh man, I tell you. Did you all hear that? I don't know if I mentioned it to you all, but there was a rumor that they were trying to get Bautista to play Darth Bane
Oh wow, that would
Really?
be amazing.
Yeah, actually, I feel like Batista could pull off Darth Bane. Yeah, which for those that may not know, Darth Bane is the Sith that basically is credited with instituting the rule of two, where there's only a master,
The Academy.
right? Only a master and an apprentice when it comes to the Sith. And he's had novels in the past, which who knows if they are or are not canon. But
They're
if they
not.
make,
But
yeah, well,
they're fucking amazing.
they are. They really the Darth Bane novels are fantastic.
That's why Disney
you should-
doesn't want them.
Well, listen, here's the thing. What I would suspect is if Disney did make a Darth Bane movie and it was like it did have like Batista, I would bet $1 to a dime it would be heavily influenced by some of those original novels. Like the stories are probably gonna be very similar with just some changes here and there because
It'll
they
be like
want
Age of Ultron or Civil War.
No.
I'll be happy.
And don't get me wrong, Age of Ultron and Civil War are both great movies, but they only take like nuggets of inspiration from their source material. Like I feel like those joints would be like they would be very much like, okay, this is basically like especially like the first novel. I feel like the first novel would probably be the first movie with some very slight changes.
Look, setting yourself up for disappointment.
Oh no.
Welcome to my world. Welcome to my world. There it is. It's like the eternally hopeful. It's like, dude, election night was hard. God damn. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. I was like, where's my drink?
Right? Oh my gosh.
So But
All
anyway,
right, fellas. Well, thank you very much for having me on.
thank you
I
for
better
being
go
on,
to
Normie.
sleep. I gotta be up in 5 hours, but dude, it was awesome chit-chatting Star Wars, and thank you.
Anytime you want to, please feel free to drop by, Normie. It was great having you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
All right,
Talk
later.
to y'all soon. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right.
Before we jump into our next segment, which is the comic book review, right?
Yeah. Batgirl.
Let me do a heavy metal minute real quick.
Let's do it.
And yeah.
I agree with Moses.
Yeah.
Heavy metal minute because yeah.
We're getting out of here. There's more Fear Factory drama. It's become a heavy metal minute tradition to talk about Fear Factory drama. And one of the latest things is Dino posting on Facebook a celebratory post of the 30th anniversary of Fear Factory. He said 30 years of fear, a nice little thumbnail picture. And he thanked everybody for making it happen, all the original members. Dino is the only one left. And, of course, there's going to be comments and reactions to it. And one fan said, it's not going to be the same without Burton Seatbelt, the original singer. To which Dino replied, well, I'm glad it's not the same. Because really, Burton did too many drugs, too much alcohol, didn't take care of his voice. He didn't even sound good live anymore. To which is everybody whoa, that's fucked up. I got to see Divine Heresy, Burton's other band, open up for Dino's other band, Asesino. And, at the Whiskey, good acoustics, legendary venue, and sounded great. But that was over 10 years ago. So, there shows my age. But, who knows what's happened as of late. He went on to say, Dino, that is, he went and contrasted Burton's vocals to, Howard Jones, Corey Taylor, and Mike Patton, and said basically those guys actually went to vocal coaches. They took care of their voice. That's their instrument. They took care of it. They didn't abuse it. And that's why they can still do it. They can sing, scream, everything. Whereas Dino says Burton doesn't. So that's the latest bit in drama. I don't know what's going to be. I don't know what this new album. I already gave my money to Dino because Indiegogo and COVID. Like, you know what? He needs money. I can't go to concerts, so I'll give money to artists whichever way I can. Through merch, Bandcamp, as you heard earlier, all of that. So I don't know. If you're a Fear Factory fan, why don't you tell me what you think about this album coming up, Resurgence? Are you weary? Are you afraid? What do we have to hope for? Who can replace Burton, really? Like, he's such an influential figure in this type of singing, this Napalm Death, growly, like Godflesh type, dry growl vocal, and then this cool melodic, almost 80s-ish vocal. So who can do that? I mean, people have done it. He influenced a lot, but who knows? We'll see. I'm Moses Magnum. This has been a Heavy Metal Minute.
Woo! Comic book review. Comic book
Like
review.
well, not like that, but like
All right. Good job, Moses Magnum.
you're welcome.
Huzzah. All right. Jay, you want to go ahead and talk to us about Batgirl, the Joker War tie-ins?
Okay. So, Batgirl, the Joker War tie-in starts with the Joker breaking into Babs' apartment. He's got control of Wayne Tech, and I guess a lot of shit is going down with this Joker War. And he goes to Babs because he wants to get into the Bat computers in the Bat Cave, and he wants her to help him with that. But she stabs herself and then stabs him to stop that from happening. Then she ends up in the hospital with her brother and her dad. They start fighting, and she kind of just doesn't want to have shit to do with either of them because Jim Gordon, when he was infected, he did a lot of bad shit, and her brother is just an ass. Then we move on to her activism, where she's trying to, be Batgirl, but also work in government, like helping out the local congresswoman to try and make everything better. So it's not just as Batgirl, but make life better for people as Barbara. And then we get to Batgirl 50, which is basically just her saying that she's gonna do her to the best of her ability and help Gotham as Batgirl and as Barbara.
Yeah. No, I mean that pretty much sums it up. I know for me, there was a point like I've been behind on my Batman comics, so I hadn't read Joker War, and so I was thinking like, okay, well, if I'm gonna read these Batgirl comics, I should probably read Joker War to kind of get like the full like breadth of what's happening. But I was like, man, it's a lot of comics. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get through it. So I'm like, let me just read Batgirl. And I'm glad I did, because other than like that first part, which was like 47, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like 47 is probably the only part of it that's kind of like I don't even want to say that it's like, I'm sure that what happened in Batgirl 47 probably gets mentioned at some point in Joker War, but realistically speaking, like it feels like all of that happens in these last issues of Batgirl is not it's not really Joker War. I mean it's literally titled like Joker War Collateral Damage. And so it's not like a direct like tie-in, I guess, to Joker War. It might I guess it does it all happen before the actual meat of Joker War?
I don't know what the meat of Joker War is.
I don't know either.
So I think it's kind of happening during Joker War.
Okay. But that would imply that Batgirl was not like any kind of significant factor of Joker War then.
Right. She was doing her own thing.
Right. Okay. And that could be the case. I don't know. I don't know. But I won't, this is not a knock against these issues, mind you. Because her, like what she was going through on her own was definitely interesting and significant in and of itself. It was just like one of those things where I was totally like thinking like, oh man, like I'm probably going to get spoiled on some aspects of Joker War. And that turned out not to be the case.
Okay.
Or very little, other than like, obviously Joker has taken over Wayne Tech. So, or Wayne Industries or whatever. I know that has happened. I did not know that beforehand. So I'm like, okay.
Right. Oz in chat says, I hate all of you.
Why does he hate us? Because we don't read Batman?
Because we don't know where
DC, honestly.
We don't know where the meat of Joker War is.
Okay. I don't know what to tell you. Look, by the time you come back, Oz, we will. Like I'm actually thinking that when Oz comes back, we should do that that death metal. But look, wait, this is the only time you've ever heard Moses not be excited for the idea of death metal. Like, anytime you normally you just say the word metal, Moses' ears perk up like a excited puppy. When we say DC's death metal, he's like,
And, for a split second, I thought we were actually going to talk about the new like Cannibal Corpse and 6 Feet Under album. But
I mean, maybe if Scott Snyder ties it in, we'll do it.
He won't. DC editorial won't let him. They have a soundtrack for the death metal comic book series, and it's the singer from Evanescence singing on it.
That's hilarious. Moses.
Yes.
You got to read Batgirl 50, which is the final issue of Batgirl for now.
Yeah.
But I think they're ending like if I'm not mistaken, I feel like they're ending, or even if they're not like because did Batgirl get canceled? Batgirl didn't get canceled, right?
Well, I think they're pausing while they go into this event. They're going to be going to,
Future
right?
State and Generation 5 or 5G or whatever.
Omniverse.
Like I know that all their books are being halted. I know that some books did get canceled because we did that story. I do remember that, but I don't know that Batgirl was necessarily one of them. But maybe it was. I don't know. But either way, all the books are being halted, and then everything is going to be this future state, and then they kind of relaunch everything. Which I'm sure Batgirl will get another book eventually.
She'll be back in a wheelchair.
Which that could be the case. I don't know. Like, but you read issue 50, Mo, which was the final issue. What were your thoughts on this issue? How did it leave you?
Well, if that was the final issue, I was like, wow, what a way to go out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was, I didn't know it was the final issue. Oz in chat says that 50 is the last issue for Batgirl. Canceled.
You're fired, Batgirl.
Yeah. But, I guess it's It's a good enough story. It's okay. I don't know. Like, I mean, I essentially read the epilogue of the Joker War stuff. I didn't know we were supposed to read the whole thing. So,
I mean, if it's any consolation, you didn't read the epilogue of the Joker War stuff. You just read the epilogue of what was going on with Batgirl.
well, yeah, that's what I meant. The stuff with Batgirl. But, yeah, I mean, it was fine. I mean, nothing really happened in both stories.
Right. No, listen, I can't imagine reading issue 50 without having read the issues before it.
Yeah.
Because reading issue 50 on its own without any kind of context seems like it'd be weird. Like for you, like I can only imagine, like, because you're kind of like, because it doesn't do an amazing job of like bringing you up to speed in regards to like what was happening before that moment.
It doesn't, but I pick random comics to read in random parts in general, so I'm okay with that. It's
I'm with you on that
how
too.
enjoyable is it on its own, which this one was fine. It's just different than anything I've ever read.
Yeah.
Because she's mad at Bruce for not being a billionaire. And she's mad at him throwing money at situations, and then he fixes it by throwing money at a situation.
Right.
And then that's it. That's the extent of Bruce Wayne's fiduciary responsibility to Gotham. I don't know if fiduciary I used right, but and then that's it. It's like, yeah, this comic book clearly wasn't written by somebody with money.
Are you calling Cecil Castellucci poor?
Well, it's just Batman's reaction of throwing money at everything while, tax write-offs, whatever. Like a little bit of Batman's business, like, hey, well, I can give money to the homeless, but homeless is a complex issue. It's not just a money issue; it's a mental health issue. It's this, and they go into that before, but then, she even says that like voting isn't as easy for homeless people. Throwing money at things isn't as easy for homeless people. And then that whole conflict with Bruce would have been a lot more interesting if it wasn't just fixed by Bruce Wayne throwing money at it. Because, we've established that money isn't just the easiest solution for this.
Yeah. I will say in defense of that moment that I do feel like the point was you don't like it's not so much that money doesn't help as much as don't give your money. You're giving your money at a level where it doesn't reach the people.
Well, they filed for a 501(c) tax exempt form. Like you have to, even if I give money to the homeless regularly. I'm not trying to say that like that. I'm not giving a ton of money, but I do give time for certain things.
Yeah.
But I can't claim it on, if I'm gonna like give a big amount like that, I can't tell the IRS, oh, these 30,000, like I just gave it at a lower level. This is why this money isn't here. Otherwise, they can think I'm hiding it,
right?
Or using it for nefarious things, and then there's an audit, and it's like it's not going to line up. And that Bruce Wayne gives it a high level because he don't need the IRS poking around to see why. You know what? Why is his Edison bill so high? It's almost like he's powering a supercomputer under his house.
Why is his Edison bill so high?
That situation with Batgirl and Bruce is, economically is a more complex situation. Just that interaction, let alone the solution. So you spent the whole time talking about how it's a complex issue, and then the real complex issue, the talking turkey, because that's real complex. There's a reason why a lot of people don't get to that way. It's just because they don't know how to manage that little dotting the I and crossing the T, let alone generational wealth from the Waynes and things like that. But, we've seen a lot of people inherit a ton of money and just squander it because they don't know how to do that. But this guy managed he created a crime-fighting syndicate and still managed to get the IRS off his ass.
Yeah, yeah.
And now you expect him to just throw money at a place where he might not get the right paperwork, and then he just does it. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, he's not a billionaire anymore. He's a millionaire apparently.
yeah.
And
Look, under Biden, he's still getting taxed on that extra. I'm not doing the math today.
yeah. And it's interesting because obviously like Cecil Castellucci is a good writer,
Mhm.
and she definitely what Jay
Chat.
I was thinking about when Stephanie was singing.
right
Like,
right well and she definitely knows how to like set up characters, situations, and like message, like when she
Mhm.
wants to get a message across, she can get it across effectively. um I was a little shocked by how heavy-handed that story felt in regards to the messages that were coming across, just because it felt very uncharacteristic. And it might very well just be a thing where it's like, okay, maybe she ran out of time to say all the things she wants to say, just because they're like, well, hey, it's gonna be the last issue. Like it would not have surprised me to find out that maybe initially that 50th issue was going to be like longer and just a regular 50th issue, and maybe she got the memo that like actually it's gonna be the last issue of Batgirl, and we want to make it like you know like special, so we want to tell like a few different stories. So like you're with the story that you were already doing, like you need to condense that so that we can tell like these other 2 or 3 stories in the book, which that could be the case, but it just felt a lot more heavy-handed than usual. Like it felt like the kind of thing like this is the kind of stuff that people that want to always be like, oh, SJWs are taking over the comic
Yeah.
book industry, and they just all they want to do is like take our heroes and cloak messages, like on the like this feels like that kind of like that first story felt like that's the kind of stuff they read and they're like, look, see how they're just like trying to co-opt our heroes and like give all these kind of messages. It felt like that, and I was like, oh, like that's that's I was surprised for me to feel that way, or to read this and be like, oh well, this is like this feels heavy-handed and a little bit like chunky, like I know that if she wanted to, she could totally get all those same messages in and it feel a lot more like subtle, like where you don't even realize that you'll get the message but not realize that that's the message being fed to you. And so I was like, I wonder what the story is behind that. So because at the end of the day, I was just like, geez, like,
Well,
we are messing around and running with this like Batgirls out here protesting with folks or whatever, which I don't feel like that's out of character. I feel like Barbara Gordon probably would do that.
I feel that I would want to see the series of this dual life of Barbara Gordon.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And I would enjoy this. I like you said, it's kind of heavy-handed, but it was still interesting. I like this dynamic, and I want to read more of it.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure Bruce Wayne explains that, hey, they don't have the 501(c)(3) tax exempt form, like license. Yeah, but that's beside the point. That's just me. But yeah, I was feeling the same way, Larry. That this is why people get mad at these books, but I didn't feel like this is why they get mad. I'm like, this is a book that somebody had it been a popular book would have had some backlash.
Oh, absolutely. Like, yeah, like this is like it's under the radar for some people, and that's why you don't see like 18 YouTube videos about it.
Yeah, instead, you just see this one.
right. Which is like telling you like, hey,
Here's the best one.
Yeah, like there's nothing wrong with the message.
Yeah,
it's just like yeah, well, maybe we'll take a little bit different approach, but I don't know. Jay, what do you think?
As in chat says, hashtag Castellucci cut.
Well, when I saw that it was a bigger book than usual, and then I'm reading this, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get a good chunk of this. And I didn't know it was canceled. I was like, man, I'm gonna keep reading this book.
But I mean, it says it on the cover, right?
I
That's
didn't
the
look
final
at the cover.
issue. Yeah.
Look, I didn't have time to like read what it says on the cover. I just grabbed it and opened it up and started reading. I finally started working out again because my back doesn't hurt. And then, you know, all the stuff I had to do today. I produced 2 heavy metal minutes and all that, whatnot.
That chat message for you, Moses.
Yeah.
Dangerous
Little-
bat villains, the
tax
tax auditors.
Yeah. They're not that powerful.
It depends on if the Court of Owls is backing them or not.
Or like, who's the one saying, you know, the audit is a long process. Like yeah. So
Right.
Bruce can get away with it. Like, but he wouldn't take that risk.
I agree. So, Jay, what did you think of some of the other stories in issue 50?
I love the D&D story. One, because it was just fun, but 2, it made sense. Like, I could see Barbara thinking the way she does in that story.
Mm-hmm.
So that was fun. Like, I enjoyed that one. I also like the story where she's kind of like everyone's sidekick, because it feels like a place where she would be. Like, because she's so reliable, I could see just people just kind of taking her for granted, and just knowing that she can handle the load.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And that did do the thing where you kind of see like the one panel from it in the story earlier, and then it turned out you get like the full context later. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like that when that happens.
Yeah.
One thing I do have to say about this book, the art is really good all across the board. All the different stories. I really enjoyed the art a lot.
Yeah, the art was good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, all in all, it seems like, and I can't say for certain because I didn't read the entire run, but it seems like a good run for Batgirl altogether. I think that it's just outside of just the first part of the or I guess the first story, and just like maybe it feeling a little heavy-handed in regards to the message it was trying to get across. Otherwise, I think it was a cool book. As far as the final issue is concerned, and the ones leading up to it, I thought were interesting. Even though I will say that there is an aspect to things where I always talk about how back in the day that people would write comics like every book was somebody's first book, and so it would recap some things or whatever. I feel like you don't want to necessarily write your stories to necessarily be catching people up on everything that was happening or whatnot. And I think the recap page was a great addition to most modern comics, so that you can get you can put the summary there so that people can get the information they need, and you kind of fill in like little holes here and there in the story if you need to. Reading these books, I was like, this Jason guy, like I read issue 47 through 50, and I'm just like, okay, I understand that she is in a relationship with Jason. I don't know anything about where she I don't know how she met Jason, or all I know is she's in a relationship with Jason right now as Barbara Gordon, and as Batgirl, she for some reason she threw him off a roof. I don't know why she threw him off a roof.
I will say they do tell you where to get the info.
Yeah,
I'll give you that. But I feel over the course of 4 issues, somebody should somewhere they should tell me just mention why he got thrown off that roof. Like, why did he get thrown off?
He wanted to hurt him.
Yeah, why? Like that doesn't feel like Batgirl's character. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, why did Batgirl want to talk? Like, even if she's like, I want to hurt him, which I'm like, okay, hey, you know, we all have these moments, right? Why was throwing him off the roof the go-to move? Like, and I'm like, this fool has a cane. I'm assuming he didn't have the cane before she threw him off the roof. So I'm like, damn, this dude has like some sort of permanent injury, and he doesn't know that the woman that he is in love with is actually the same chick that threw him off the roof. And I get that, like, that all makes sense to me as far as like why it's a good story. Obviously, it was compelling enough for me to be talking about it. But I'm just like, damn, if somebody doesn't like, why won't someone tell me why she threw this fool off the roof? Like, I feel like that you could. I'm not talking about an in-depth like thesis on why it was the right choice. I'm just saying what was the one sentence version of why she did that. Because I don't even understand like why, like how he came into her life or anything. Like I don't know what he does for a living. I don't know why he would be in a situation to be thrown off of a roof by Batgirl. Like he's not a villain apparently, or at least if he was, they shouldn't say it. Like that's the thing. I don't understand the context of it at all.
They talk about it a little bit.
Where? I missed it.
You did miss it. It's okay. I actually can't recall it. Like it's not like they give like a whole page, but they do say he did something. It had something to do with the Gotham City Police Force, and part of the reason why his dad or why Jim isn't commissioner anymore.
Well, yeah, no, I got that. Like I did get that. Like he basically framed Commissioner Gordon. Is that why she threw him off the roof?
Right.
Oh. I would have felt like she would not throw him off the roof for that because she didn't feel like she was estranged from her dad already. But
she loves the guy.
Well, yeah, but I guess it's not like she.
And it's not like it was her brother that got framed.
Like she'd have been happier about that, you're saying?
No, she wouldn't have been as mad.
Okay. But I guess what I'm saying is the way she made it seem as though like her dad needed to be taken down a peg. And I get that, you know, you don't want to do it in a way where, you know, he's getting, I guess, worse than he deserves. I'm with you on all this right here. I guess my thought was, I don't know that the Batgirl that I'm familiar with, the Barbara Gordon I'm familiar with, wouldn't be like, oh, this fool afraid of my dad. The solution to that is toss him off a roof. So I guess I'm thinking like it must have been something else. So, you know, but maybe that is what it is, which that feels very extreme. And, you know, and I guess technically she like caught him before he hit the ground or hit the ground at full speed. I don't know if she like grabbed him with like a bat grappling hook or something and just was like, okay, well, this will only halfway smash into the ground. I don't know. But I'm just like,
they can tell you what book you can find out in.
Well, yeah, I guess so, man. I guess so. But I will say, like, there was a little bit where I'm like, man, I almost wish that they would have written this, like, you know, giving me a little bit more info on this part, like, because I like, you know, but I guess you're right. I could go back to what was it, Batgirl Eternal? I think it was, or something.
Batman
like that.
Eternal.
Was it Batman or Batgirl?
Batman.
Okay, maybe. How long ago was Batman Eternal? Was that recent?
2 years ago.
Oh no, I don't think it's. I think it might be. It might have been Batgirl Eternal. I think.
Where's my candle?
I don't know, because I'm just like, I don't think it was Batman. Because why is she tossing fools off of roofs in Batman books? Like, it's like, but baby, I don't know. But either way, I was just like, man, like I feel like this is like too central a point of what's happening in all these books for us not to like know, like at least not to be mentioned why she tossed him off the roof. You know, and I'm just saying, like, you know, this is not something for me where I'm like, if it was one issue, I don't know if I would make a big deal about it because, hey, modern comics doesn't work like that. But I read 4 books and I don't know for fact why he was tossed off this roof. It did not occur to me that that was why she did it, because I'm like, well, I mean, you know, like that's political kind of like sort of framing. Like it's not like he was in jail. He just lost his job, you know? So it's like, and it sounded to me like she wanted him to lose his job because he was like he was infected or whatever. I don't know what it was. I don't know why she's estranged with him because I'm not reading Batgirl, but I need to know why she tossed this fool off the roof.
I know at some point, like I don't remember what, and 100% in relation to what, but they do give you like 4 different books to go that you can read to find out, to get like auxiliary info.
Yeah.
Oscar in chat says, I think technically Jason Todd tossed him off the roof.
No. What is
no one can see that, Mo?
Oh, damn it. Hold on. What is it? What do you Mo, it's not in focus. What's it say? Just tell us what it says.
Batman Eternal 28.
Oh, okay. Batman Eternal. Got it. Did you pull up Batman Eternal to find out why she tossed him off the roof?
No. It took me long enough to find that caption back. You didn't trust my memory.
I didn't realize it was in Batman or Batgirl 50. I thought it might have been a book you didn't even read.
Like, I answered your question.
You answered my question, Mo. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. I'll never doubt your memory again.
No, you can doubt it because I didn't remember Joe telling me we had to read all of it.
So, what are we all rating this book?
Are we rating 50 in particular, or what are we? Yeah, 50.
Dealer's choice or player's choice.
If I'm rating 50, I liked it. I'd probably give it like 3.5, 3 3/4 canes, 3 3/4 walking sticks out of 5. Yeah, like like I liked it. There were some points in the book that I was like, wanted more information, and there was some of the especially in 50 when you talk about some of the other stories that were in it. It's like I did like those other stories. I'm not sure if it wasn't like it didn't quite feel like finale stories. It felt like issue 50 if 51 was coming out next month.
Kind of like annual stories.
Yeah, I mean, not yet. I mean, but yeah, it did feel like more like an annual story, or like you're like, hey, you're gonna oversize issue 50 because it's a Hallmark, and great.
It doesn't feel like a final issue.
No, it doesn't feel like a final issue. So I think that's why I have to go ahead with like the 3 3/4. What about you, Moses?
I'd give it about a 4 because I just like the art a lot. The story I actually enjoyed too, despite what it might have sounded like earlier. But I did enjoy the story. I did like that aspect of Batgirl trying to save Gotham 2 different ways.
Yeah.
Three actually, because it's her personal activism, Batgirl, and then her job. So
yeah,
I enjoyed that. I wish I could have seen more.
Yeah. Jay?
And I'm gonna give it a 4. Like, I like these issues. I like the personal, I like her. Like, I like her attitude.
Yeah.
Like, she's just trying to get shit done.
Yeah.
She doesn't have time to deal with her dad's bullshit. She doesn't have time to deal with her brother's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
She's got shit to do, and she's trying to get it done. And I like it.
Yeah.
And I also like the other stories. In particular, I did like the D&D story a lot. I thought that was really fun. A really fun story.
Yeah. Cool.
So in chat, real quick, we got Oblivious Uncle says, you know what's a cool book? Devolution by Max Brooks. You guys heard of it?
I have not.
Me either. Mo?
Oh, no. Yeah, it doesn't have pictures in it.
Oh, is it a novel?
Well, Max Brooks is a novel writer. Don't ask me how I know. I know nothing about books, but yeah.
So apparently, it's about a Sasquatch massacre.
What?
Looking at the Wikipedia page, the Devolution, a first-hand account of the Rainier Sasquatch Massacre, is a 2020 fiction book by American author Max Brooks. The cryptid Sasquatch is, the cryptid Sasquatch on the foothills of a post-volcanic eruption, Mount Rainier, stands as a metaphor for the real-world COVID-19 pandemic. The book was optioned by Legendary Entertainment to become a film around the same time the book began to be sold to the public in June 2020.
He worked fast.
Yeah. I feel like, but like Max Brooks writes comics, right?
No, he used to write Star Wars books.
Really?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
I mean, not that I know anything about books. I only talk comics.
That's fair. Oh, he's Mel Brooks' son.
Yeah, he's an actor and a voiceover artist.
Oh, okay. Look, is Oblivious Uncle, is that actually Max Brooks in chat? Like promoting his own?
No, it's Max Brooks' uncle.
Well, hey, look, that's all good. That's all good. I feel like I read a comic that Max Brooks wrote, but I can't think of what it is.
No, you think of Max Landis.
He wrote the Zombie Survival Guide, Recorded Attacks, G.I. Joe Hearts and Minds, the Harlem Hellfighters, the Extinction Parade, A More Perfect Union, and Germ Warfare, a very graphic history.
Yeah, I didn't read any of those. It's not Max Landis though, because I know Max Landis, and yeah, I would not do that to Max Brooks. So.
Oh, he's also the guy that wrote World War Z.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
No, there it is. So cool, gents. Anything else we need to talk about before we get out of here today?
We're not going to get to news, but I do have an extra news that I didn't put in the Heavy Metal Minute, but we did talk about Junji Ito. Junji Ito did a collaboration with the Misfits to make band merch for the Misfits. So you can now get a Misfits shirt that's drawn by Junji Ito, which is
I'm
awesome.
already terrified.
They're really good. I want them all.
That's very cool.
16 lines of streetwear. They launched Friday on October 30th. So you can get that at the Crunchyroll store. I'm sure Hot Topic will have it because Hot Topic actually sells this really cool Junji Ito hoodie that's just panels of the comics like sewn together in one big hoodie. I was going to get it, but it's white, so I didn't get it.
That's fair.
And,
I did want to do one news story real quick.
All right, go for it.
Amazon argues customers who buy Prime Video content don't own it as a California woman sues company for secretly reserving the right to cut off access to purchased titles. So Amanda Caudell, of Fairfield, California, sued Amazon in April for false advertising, saying that Amazon secretly reserves right to make paid-for content unavailable, and Amazon Prime Video says customers are actually paying for a limited license to stream content, and that's subject to third-party rights holders. So
I guess I'm not buying digital content anymore.
I know Amazon is trying to get the case thrown out because the woman suing them doesn't actually own any content that's unavailable now. Apparently
she read the yeah, look, she's a hero.
She read the agreement.
Yeah. Look, I don't think it should get thrown out, but I think she should at least just buy one thing as a gesture that she's afraid is going to go away. But think about all the Comixology comics we have. Like, that's owned by Amazon.
I'll be honest.
I've been buying a bunch of comics from there.
I'll be honest. This doesn't taint my opinion of only buying digitally.
No,
just because I know I used to own a ton of physical shit and I lost it all. Now I own digital shit and I could lose it all. But I think the convenience of it all being digital, like, it's a risk either way. Like,
yeah, but you're
going to lose my shit one way or the other.
So
at the very least, digital is more convenient and it takes up less space.
When you buy something at the store, you know you can lose it on the way. If I buy a quad venti mocha at Starbucks and I spill it, that's on me. If Starbucks secretly can say, "Oh, I'm going to drop it for you," without you knowing, then we have a fucking problem. You know what I mean?
I can slap it at your hand at some point.
One of Amazon's arguments is one of the things they're saying is that this is all in the terms and agreements. They acknowledge that not everyone is going to read all the terms and agreements, but they're saying this is not a secret. Like, it's there. The info is there.
Everybody has a Prop 65 agreement that they might get cancer from eating fast food, and it's damn near on the label of your burger. They want you to read that. Amazon should want you to read that they might take away what you bought from them.
Yeah. And I won't say it's not a little disappointing, but I will say it doesn't change how I'm going to consume content.
It's not, but it would be nice that you wouldn't lose that too, along with your physical shit, especially if you lost your physical shit. Then you buy it from Amazon because it's like, hey, you know what? I have it. But now you might lose that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Think about movies and shit, like series, you know? Like, you buy it from them because if you just got Netflix for it, it might not be there anymore.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Oh,
So,
man, you mention it like that.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It might not be, Amazon might be in the right, but a judge should hear it.
Yeah. Now, I will say, one of the things, and this is one of the things I always go to when thinking about how I consume digital content on Amazon, is I bought Jason the Wheel Warrior Season 2 because at the time I owned Season 1 on disc, and I wasn't worried about losing it, and then I did lose it, and I was like, fuck. And I tried to buy it on Amazon, and they lost their license to sell it. Season 1, Season 2, they lost their license to sell Jason the Wheel Warriors. However, I can still watch the Jason the Wheel Warriors Season 2, even though they're not allowed to sell it anymore.
Right.
And so that makes me feel a little safer about it. Like, I don't feel like they're just gonna up and, because realistically, I don't know how many people are clamoring for Jason the Wheel Warriors. So the fact that they keep it on their servers and they're still letting me stream it, even though they don't have the ability to sell it, means that they're gonna, they're not gonna be willy nilly about what they can and can't stream anymore.
All I'm saying is you don't want the legal precedent there saying they can take your right to watch Jason the Wheel Warriors season 2. You want to get that cleared up. You don't want that foggy. You know what I mean? And if anything that the last 4 years has taught us is that things that are more traditions and not laws have been a detriment to us because we left them foggy for so long.
Yeah.
But with the Republicans owning the Supreme Court, maybe it'd be better if it didn't go until the Democrats were in charge.
Well, the thing is, that's the perfect example. Obama didn't want to put a final judge before he left, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna do that because it's it's the right thing to do, or he doesn't want to have to deal with that battle or whatever.
No. That's not how that happened.
Look, I'm saying how they say it now.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm like about to say, like, that fool put the judge up, and they would not hear him. Okay, I'm
yeah. But if there was a clear-cut law saying that you wouldn't do it a certain time before in an election year, we wouldn't have either problem.
Right. Well,
it would have been an even playing field, because things that were more tradition and not law was foggy. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want corporate America having that power, man.
Also, real quick before I would feel remiss if I didn't mention this. I've meant to do it for probably about 2 weeks now and hadn't done it. But Marvel Made is like Marvel's like their crowdfunding-ish kind of thing that they do, or they started doing recently. Their first thing they came out with was a bunch of Scotty Young pins that was basically the stuff they were going to have at Comic-Con and New York Comic-Con that they couldn't do because COVID. And, we all kind of like, whatever, like, who wants that? Even though it's like, there are people that want it. So, because they messed around and got made. But the second thing they came out with is Marvel Paragon Collection, which is probably the first thing they should have come out with. And this Marvel Paragon Collection is basically a thing where it's like they take talent, or at least what it seems like is they're going to take talent and feature some of their best work in like a prestige kind of format. And the first one they're doing is Chris Claremont. And so, yeah. So it's Marvel Paragon Collection, Chris Claremont. It includes, it's a like prestige format that includes X-Men 94, which is Chris Claremont's first issue, or I'm sorry, Uncanny X-Men 94. I should be specific. Uncanny X-Men 129 through 137, which is the Dark Phoenix saga. Uncanny 141 and 142, which is Days of Future Past. Wolverine 1 through 4, which is of course, classic Wolverine miniseries that was also illustrated by Frank Miller.
He had the whiskers.
There you go. Uncanny 268, which was illustrated by Jim Lee, and then X-Men #1, which is X-Men #1, which is still the best-selling comic book in the history of comic books.
I'm sorry, I missed it. Can you start over?
You're so silly.
Okay.
You're so silly. But basically it's all of Chris Claremont's like seminal stuff. So if you want a prestige format for Dark Phoenix Saga or for Dark Phoenix Saga, Days of Future Past, friggin' X-Men #1, like it's all the most amazing stuff. And it's a very cool looking book. Like hardcover friggin' like, yeah, amazing kind of binding. It comes with all types of extra kind of like um lithograph kind of stuff and whatnot. And so it's you have until November 20th to pre-order it if you want it. They're currently at 422 pre-orders. They need 778 to actually produce this, and but it is $200. So that's the only downside of it, where it's an amazing, like, it in my opinion, I'm like, if you're an X-Men fan and you can spare the 200, you should get it. I know for myself, I'm kind of like, I don't know if I got the 200 to spare, but I definitely want one, you know? So it's like, so I'm going to tell you all, because I know that there are other people out here that are X-Men fans like myself, and I think you would all benefit from checking this out, because
Honestly,
it's a cool
looks
looking
like
thing.
amazing.
It's an amazing thing, and you know, it's funny because I was actually talking
A blue hardback book with like gold lettering.
yeah.
Like, yeah, this joint looks really good.
Yeah. And you know what? Actually, I'm saying it like I can't share my screen, but let me share my screen real quick just so that I can show the people. I know some of you are kind of like probably like, what does it look like? So this is the book. So yeah, that's like literally there's a big giant book that's like it's not obviously not a dust cover, but it's like you have a book or a faux book as a case to hold the actual books. So, and then this is what the actual book itself looks like. And so there's the case along with the book, and then you get like these lithographs and stuff with it too. That's Oliver Coipel. But yeah, there's like some other, I guess some of these images here are some of the other stuff that I should show you. But yeah, man, it's a cool looking thing. And so if you're an X-Men fan and you're looking for a way to treat yourself, that would be a good way to go, I think. All right.
I'll wait for the digital version.
You're so crazy. There's
Well,
no digital.
look, let's get the case going first. Make sure they don't take it away. It's all about the legal precedents, man. Like I remember, you know, voting for the right for gays to get married, and it's just because I don't want the government deciding who can and can't get married. You know, it wasn't even about them; it's about us. You know, they'll fuck them before they get to fucking us, and gayer than that. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, let's get out of here. Jay, give me some final thoughts, buddy.
So this last episode of DuckTales was fucking phenomenal. Like, if you're not watching DuckTales, you should be. And yeah, this last episode was great. It's basically the kids are like split up into groups of three to find these three sword pieces, and just the pairings are interesting, and they do some like super cool shit with Tiwi and Louie and Violet. Like, definitely check it out. It's definitely worth checking out. Actually, DuckTales in general is worth checking out. You should be checking it out.
Word. You watched the Darkwing episode, Jay?
Yeah, I did. Like,
Good.
I had issues with it.
Oh, how dare you!
I mean, yeah, we'll go into that
Another time. I agree. Moses Magnum, final thoughts.
Subscribe and like, comment, whatever. YouTube, you know what to do at YouTube.
Most tired. He's all tuckered out.
Yeah.
He's all tuckered out.
I've been up since 5. Yeah, it's just do everything. We got content coming. Larry getting scared is priceless. You got to see that. I'm sure Oz will have some unboxings. I have some that I still haven't put up. But anyway, yeah. But bye.
For the entire Fantastic Forum, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We do appreciate you. As Moses said, please go ahead, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that jazz. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you don't like. Tell us what you want us to cover. We're Fantastic Forum. We'll be back next week. Until then, we'll see you.